The following takes place between the hours of 8:30 p.m. and 8:32 p.m. on the eve of issue 145. Events occur in real time.
So I got sick. And you got sick.
I got sick. And Nick got sick before.
And Nick got sick. And I got sick. I think it's all those.
Now that I've escaped, I will take over the world. But first, I will take over this comic book store. Empty the register.
Stand back. I have a weapon.
Hold on, Rene. I got this. Safari! Rescue! Power up! Emu!
Emu? Ha! No matter! I have defeated Rangers before! I will do it again! Rene will give me the biggest reward when I deliver your head!
Impenetrable feathers!
Oh no!
Fast as the desert wind!
The moves! The charisma!
With the power of friendship, we'll never let you get away. Right, Rene?
Yeah, can you send the police right now? I'm about to be robbed.
Prepare yourself, villain! Emu!
Yeah, the emo choice didn't really work out.
Well, that was easy. Money, please.
Recording at 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California at Undercity Comics. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 145. My name is Nicola.
Rene.
This is Bryan.
And welcome to the show.
Whoa! Yay!
You guys need to pick that energy and get it way up here. Alright, I get it. Chug it if you need to, but you need to get
Dude,
that up.
we're not
right?
tired.
No.
We're all getting off some sickness. This is a sick boy podcast.
I don't care,
today.
dude. You know, take that Dayquil and let's go.
I think the mics are a little too hot, dude. Nick isn't even at like 30% of his energy level, and he's already like screaming into the mic.
Woo!
Didn't you get sick earlier this week too?
I was sick last week.
Yeah, you
I was
were getting sick.
I was dying.
Lower games on each
Yeah,
one.
literally last week, like there was every so often in the podcast where I would just be like, just dying.
Nah, dude, I got sick like 2 days ago as of recording, and then I'm just like barely recovering it, and I bit my tongue.
You next to?
Huh?
I think I'm too low.
Dude,
now.
I'm just too exhausted.
No, it's just way too low.
I can't hear me.
I can't even hear myself.
I think
I'm just way too low now.
Yeah, there we go.
I think that's fine. All right. But yeah. What was it? Who were you near?
No one. I think I'm just overworked. What?
You guys made out.
No.
That makes sense.
I got sick from Disneyland because
That's
COVID kids.
that's what Brian's house is called.
because I didn't wear a jacket all day.
No,
Why would you
my
wear a
apartment
jacket?
is called the Treehouse, dude.
It is
That's
a
so
treehouse,
gross.
essentially.
It's a treehouse, yeah, right?
So gross.
How's it gross, dude?
Because that's. I'm not even
What
gonna
are you talking about?
It's called
dude?
the Treehouse. That's weird.
Yeah.
Why is
no.
that weird?
Huh?
Sounds fun to me.
Yeah. Don't you wish you had a treehouse, dude?
I had a treehouse.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody has a treehouse.
So I have a treehouse.
I
now.
never had a treehouse.
So how'd you get sick at Disney?
I just didn't wear a jacket all day.
Oh,
yeah,
you got the Hispanic sickness of like,
Yeah.
mijo, si no te pones el suéter.
Basically, I kept hearing that all day.
How was Disneyland with Mandy and her family? How was it?
So moving on from no, it was good. It was just
I'm legitimately
so
asking.
no, yeah. It was great. We liked it. We got so basically it was the reason why I went to is because it was Mandy's grandmother's birthday.
Okay, how's your turn?
21.
No, she's like 78.
78.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Yeah,
yes.
you're probably not listening.
What if
can't
she
hear.
was, dude?
She can't hear. No, she's hard to
Subtitles, captions.
hear. Subtitles.
Did they say my name?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was fun. We went to was it the Toontown or is it Toontown?
The new
Oh, the new
Toontown.
The new
Toontown.
Toontown. It was.
How was
Oh
that?
my god, it was really submersive. They built it like so high up that you can't
Yeah.
even see any hills
So they
or buildings.
batued it.
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah.
So you're watching. So it was weird because at some point, as soon as we walked in, because you're going under the bridge.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walk in, I'm like, is this a dome? Because they got the sky and it blended in with the normal sky so
Yeah.
good. I was like, oh, that's the sky. I was like,
How is
Yeah.
how is Daisy's Cafe? I've been wanting to go try out there.
I didn't try any of their food, but we went on to the ride, Mickey and Minnie's ride.
That was pretty cool.
That
How'd
was
you like it?
That was fun, actually.
I rode that with Monica and her niece.
Yeah,
And then she was like, "That's my new favorite ride."
it's fun.
And then I was like, "Cool, let's go on Rise of the Resistance." And then she was like,
I like how yeah, this was like step one.
Did I
we're
ever
gonna go to 11.
Yeah,
Did I
like,
tell you guys
I-
the story
I
of,
took her to Rise of the Resistance, and after that, she was like, "I don't know what was going on, but that was awesome."
Was it say?
did I ever tell you the story of my first time at Rise of the Resistance?
No.
No.
What-
So actually, before I
you
tell
were
that
working.
story,
You were working there at the
no,
time.
I
right?
wasn't. No, I wasn't. That was this was recent too. Before I tell the story though, go. If you haven't done so, sorry, my sick brain is still like trying to. Recuperate and figure some stuff out. But if you are not watching this podcast on YouTube, head on over to Keeping Up with the Nerds on YouTube and subscribe to that channel. We're at 150 subs. We want to make it big.
Yeah.
We want more subscribers before we hit year 3. So let's get to that goal. And if you are listening to us on any audio platform, go follow us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review wherever they let you, and leave a comment or a review.
Yeah.
If you guys do so. Follow our socials as well on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and check out our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com.
Yeah.
So now that I did my whole spiel, what?
You were saying Rise of the Resistance.
Rise of the Resistance. So
It's not Rise of
it's gonna be fun, dude. It's gonna be a fun show.
You know what?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
really disappointed with Rise of the Resistance because they turned off a lot of things in Rise.
It's because it kept breaking down.
It's because they kept breaking down.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I still haven't been on it yet, but it's like every
Wait, so
time
you
we're
don't
there-
know like the actual ride?
you never
No.
been
Oh,
on-
so they can't tell you the story because it ruins it.
How have you never been on Rise?
I don't know. It's just like every
It's
time
like
we're there,
It's like a 20-minute wait.
No.
I've been there. Okay, so
Early in the morning. Yeah,
the
it is.
last time before this recent time I went to Disneyland, it was still doing that whole virtual queue thing, and we tried to do it and it wouldn't get us in. So
not recently. They turned it out. They turned that off. It's a walk up now.
well, that's what I'm saying. That was the last time I went to Disneyland
Oh, okay.
before this time, and then we were thinking about going on it. It was just the timing of it. We had both Mandy's mom on a scooter and then Mandy's grandmother on a wheelchair. So we were like, okay, well, Mandy didn't really want to leave her mom and then her grandmother astray while they're both on wheelchairs and stuff like that. So I get it. So we didn't try to prioritize Rise of Resistance, and I wasn't even like, oh yeah, but I want to go on it. I was like, yeah, we'll go on it eventually.
It's a cool ride.
Yeah, and people keep telling me that, and then we went to try to go on Web Slingers.
Well, rip.
Yeah, no, never went on it
No.
because we were in the line. 30 minutes to 45 minutes already in. It broke down like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And the waiting line kept getting longer. Like, oh, it's gonna be like 70 minutes.
Dude,
Oh, it's gonna be 80 minutes. Oh, it's gonna be 90.
So funny. I was on Web Slingers,
Mhm.
and when I went on Web Slingers, I saw this little kid, and she was sitting right next to me and Monica.
Yeah.
And as we were there, she's like, I'm like, I see her, and she's just like this, just her hands up like that.
She's
and I'm
ready.
Like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, this little girl's ready.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the just goes, like she just starts doing this. That little girl got a high score. Man, she was like,
She's a pro.
She was
Dude,
like,
I'm telling you.
she was doing that the whole time.
These
Yeah.
these
And,
Gen Alpha
like,
kids, man.
Dude, I was
They're
like,
bred to video games.
Oh, yeah.
and I got like one of the lowest scores. I was like,
You're not
I was
a
actually
gamer.
web slinging.
You're not a gamer,
Like, what's
dude.
going on?
You're not a gamer
No, I'm
anymore.
sorry. I don't. I was.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't even tell you the story of Rise.
You let him talk.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
I just
'cause
wanted.
go.
Well, first of all, do you want me to spoil the ride?
At this point, go ahead.
Yeah,
I don't.
okay.
I don't care.
So
Yeah.
it was we did a trip with Sarah and John and a couple other people
Mhm.
to Disneyland,
Not
and
me.
the Imperial guards that were in charge of lining everyone up
Yeah.
didn't do a good enough job, so
Yeah.
they split up our group into 2 separate vehicles.
Oh.
So we had a bit of a conundrum because
How many people were with you?
I think it was like 5 or 6 people. So they had 4 people in one cart and 2 in another cart. So John, I know it was kind of weird because I think what happened was
Those cars only hold 6 people.
So what ended up happening was the party in front of us decided to split themselves up. So they were the cause of the problem. Yeah. And you know, cast members can't be like, hey, you guys all got to, you know, it's kind of weird because you have to, the moment those doors open, they got to get the ride going. Otherwise you're delaying stuff. Right. Yeah. So John, being John, great guy, says, oh, you know what? He's just like, hey, I'll take Bryan on this cart. And then the rest of you guys can go on the other one.
Oh, you guys made out?
No. So here's the thing. I trusted John with my life because there's not anywhere I won't go if John is going there. I trust that man. Okay. Little did I know that the reason he wanted me to go was because he wanted to see my reaction to a certain part. So the entire story of Rise is that basically you are taken aboard this Imperial ship and you're trying to escape, right? Yeah. So where is this Imperial ship located?
Already false because I wouldn't be taken.
Okay. Yeah. Not gonna happen. So where is this Star Destroyer? Where is it? Where are you gonna find it?
In space.
How is what form of transportation do you think would require us to escape from space back down to the planet?
Riding a Wookiee.
No, there's only one way.
Escape pod.
You go down.
Ewok. Oh.
You go down.
You go down?
So I didn't put 2 and 2 together. So as we're like riding everything and all this other stuff, I was so immersed into it. It's like, oh, it's cool. There's even a part where like you get into this giant hall of AT-ATs. Yeah. And it brings you straight up. You're like, oh, shoot. Okay, that was pretty cool. Whatever, right?
And then the AT-AT turns on. And then you see the gun start moving, and you're like, oh, and then you see like the laser start shooting.
Super cool. Yeah. So we get to our escape zone, and in front of you is a window with all these different escape pods. And I remember looking at John, looking straight ahead and seeing a pod drop. And I look at John and go like, is there a drop? Is there a drop? And I look back at the window.
So that's what I was thinking. I was like, so how's there a drop? Because I've heard of this drop.
You go up. And then you're on the second level.
Do you physically go up?
You physically go up.
It's kind of like a ramp. Like
it takes you up.
Yeah, but
it's an elevator.
It's been like throughout the ride without you remembering because you've been in the ride.
So you're
it's been taking you up stories. Oh. So then it's got to bring you back to the bottom floor. So once you're on that bottom floor, it just
it just drops
immediately.
You. Yeah.
I just remember telling John 3 different times, is there a drop? Is there a drop? Yeah. We're gonna drop. And the moment I said we're gonna drop, poof, straight down. I remember, I don't know if I did, but I remember grabbing onto John's arm because I can't take drops. Dude, I can't do that. I can't do it. Dude, he was dying of laughter. And then Andy showed me TikTok, that workaholics TikTok that's going around. It was like, I almost died. I almost died.
I love seeing it for the D&D memes. It's great. It's a level. Was it like level 1 cleric gets hit with a falling arrow on his head? It's like I almost died.
So that was my first experience at Rise.
Okay. Yeah, it's
a fun ride.
Rise is fun, but Mickey and Minnie's is pretty cool. I like the concept of it. You're going into the tune.
Yeah, so it was funny. It was so funny because we had so it was in the first because we all had our own cart. Well, we were all in one cart. Yeah, and it was me, Mandy's great grandmother, Mandy's grandmother, and then Mandy. Yeah. And then behind us was her mom and her Nina. And we had to sit kind of close with her grandma because if she's not secure, she'll just go like this. So we had to kind of like scoop and keep her like secure in. Right. And so you know the part when you're dropping down into the water? Yeah. But you're not really dropping down, it just looks like it and stuff. Because you're not physically dropping it, but you hear her grandmother, you know, she gets so immersed in it, she's like super like, oh my God. So when you're dropping down, she's like, ah! And then when you drop and the bubbles are coming, she's all, I was laughing so hard. I was like, are you kidding me? And she's like, she's coughing like there's water like splashed on her. She's like, I almost died. I was like, oh my God, that's funny. I was like, that's cute, but that was funny.
The thing I liked about that one is because it says it's a runaway train.
Yeah.
Right? So I remember when me and Monica were standing in line for it, the train came forward and we were in the very front. We were right behind Goofy.
Yeah. Same with us. Yeah, same with us.
We were right behind Goofy. Yeah. And so as soon as I looked down, I noticed that all the cars weren't attached. They're not attached to each other. And I went, oh, that's gonna be cool. And then Monica goes, what? And I'm like, this is gonna be a sick ride. She's like, what happened? Like,
we're all gonna be separate. We're all gonna spread apart.
Yeah, like I was like, oh, well, that's gonna be cool because like, and then
it's a railless system.
Yeah. So
she didn't know it was a railless system.
She didn't. She gets on rides. Right? She gets on when I.
She gets on the ride. She enjoys them. That's it.
She gets off the ride. Yeah.
She's happy if she didn't get motion sickness. All right, that's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah. Of like, did you get motion sickness? No. All right, cool. Let's go on another one. You know, but anyway, so I was telling her, I go, oh, all the cars are going to separate in the middle of the ride. Yeah. She goes, have you been on it before? And I go, no. Like,
but you can see how it works.
Because it's a cartoon.
Yeah, I go, but that makes sense. Like you're gonna spin through, and then like eventually the cars are all gonna separate, and then like everybody's gonna be on their own little tracks.
Yeah.
And then like halfway through, that happened, and then she goes, "How did you guess that?" Like,
you can easily tell.
I was like, that was just
not difficult, man.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was like, oh well, you know, I've been on roller coasters since I was like 6.
Well,
like,
I've operated roller coasters since I was.
And how many of them survived? None. 0. They're all gone.
Wow.
It's 5 lawsuits, Bryan. 5.
Stop, dude. Not even.
All right, they're all gone.
Still pending.
So they have no proof.
I haven't found any evidence.
So anyway, before we move on, so I was telling Rene, at work, one of the guys at the school started a prank war.
Oh, within your
Well,
within
just
your job?
At my job. He works in a different program. He came over and then like he started a prank war. All he did was he got my backpack. Yeah. And then he zip tied it. That was it. That was all he did.
Did he reverse it?
No. He just zip tied it, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And then he was like, like, and
that's cute. Like, you're like, that's cute.
Yeah, I got you.
Watch me break your legs.
No. So for the past 3 days, I've been hiding Post-it notes in his office.
What the
in
hell?
different places.
Like his Post-it notes, his
Post-it notes. But I keep on putting "I see you" on the Post-it note, or smile, or cheese. Like it's taking a photo,
Bro,
but I keep hiding them in different places. Like I put it under his water bottle, and I put it underneath his like mouse, and I put it in different places all over the place. So the funny thing is that this has been going on for 3 days, and every single time he finds one, he then finds like 7. Like it's gotten so bad, he's going home and finding them.
How is that possible?
Okay, listen, this is a prank war, not a murder war, right?
Wait. Okay.
He put vinegar in my water.
How is he finding them at his house?
Do you sneak into his house?
I know, yeah. You have to clarify that, yeah.
So what I did is I went into his backpack, and then I started putting them in his backpack. And then I started like finding little zippers, like zippers that like has nothing in it. So I started I put them in there, and then I started putting them in like folders. Then I put them inside of his phone case.
How have you found the time to do all this?
Dude, I work with kids. There's plenty of time.
Moral of the story, don't get into prank war, because if you put vinegar in his water, dude, you break a knee.
Dude,
you look at arsenic in your dinner.
It was so funny because he's like, oh, dude, a prank is supposed to end by the end of work. It's not supposed to last 5 days. He goes, when did you even put these in my bag? And I was like, Monday. He's like, it's Friday.
Yeah. You tie his shoes together. Dude, if you tie his shoes together, chloroform.
Dude, he was in his office throwing stuff. Dude, he was in his it has to escalate to vandalism.
Yeah.
Like, that's the
only way it's gonna end, either vandalism or death. Like,
I thought it was so funny.
No. Vandalism or mental hospital.
Dude, it was so great because
you want to see this pencil disappear?
No, because he found one on the bottom of his water bottle. And he's like, that's funny. Yeah. And then he put his water bottle down. He then turned around. I then got another one and put it at the bottom of his water bottle. And then he then turned back around and I put the water bottle exactly where it was. Went the rest of the day. He then lifted it and he saw
a little color
on the bottom. And he goes, what the hell? And then he goes, when? It's been in front of me the whole time.
Dude, he's probably at home checking all his closets and stuff now, dude.
He's like, when did you have the time? You've been in front of me this whole time.
The boogeyman. That's just a docu-series.
It was so funny because he's like, this needs to stop.
Yeah.
Nick, please.
He's like,
Wait.
please.
Does he have kids or anything? Or
No.
I was gonna say, what would be so funny if he has a baby, just changes the diaper, and it's just like sticking a post-it out of the diaper. He's like, "Whoa, what the hell's going on?"
So my next idea.
No, don't
is
tell
I
us,
wanna-
dude.
Well,
No, he's not gonna find
he's
out.
not gonna find out, but he doesn't watch. I don't think. Anyway, maybe he does. He's gonna tell me something on Monday. But anyway, I was talking to one of the other coworkers, and I'm like, I need his car keys.
No.
And then he goes, "What are you going to use his car keys for?"
Yeah.
And I go, "Well, one, I'm going to move his car. Two, I'm then going to fill it with Post-it notes."
How are you gonna fill it with post-it?
Well, no. Like not fill it,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna like on the steering wheel, I'm gonna put "look up," and then have another Post-it note that says "look to the left," and then just like have directions all over the place,
my God.
and then hide them in like his pockets.
Check your gas
and then
tank.
hide it in the gas tank.
Yeah.
Where,
Stop,
where-
dude.
where-
Oh,
where-
no, he's gotta put it in the flat.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you actually
yeah.
put sugar in his gas, dude. With that,
dude, he's going insane. He's like, "How are you so good at this?"
Nick, you need to stop being a menace, dude.
He's like, "I did one."
You need
he
to
goes,
stop being a
I
menace.
did one. I pranked you one time.
And what did he do to
Friday.
you though? Like, what did he just zip tied your
Dude,
backpack?
he put a zip tie on my bag, and I was like,
That's like, dude, you're going like 40 levels. Like,
it's so funny too
Yeah.
because the security guard that's on campus, he watches as I do it, and he's dying. He is laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I palmed a picture of the security guard, and I went, "All right, man, I'll see you later." And I went over to that same guy on Tuesday. Mind you, I'm already pranking him with the Post-it notes.
Yeah.
I then got a picture of our security guard on a sticker, and I put it on his back, like right in the middle seam of his back.
of the security guard?
No, of the guy I've been pranking. So he now has a picture of the security guard on his back, like right in the middle of the seam, so you can't reach it.
Yeah.
He then goes to dinner with the principal, the vice principal, 4 teachers, security guard, and all of them see it on him and are laughing at him the whole time.
When did he find out after?
He found out at 11 o'clock at night when he got home and took his sweater off.
Wow.
And I
it
did
was a
this-
zip tie.
And
It was a zip tie.
I did this at 11 o'clock in the morning. He's been walking around like, hold on. I told him, you know what, man? That tells me a lot about your staff, that they all saw it and nobody helped you. That tells me a lot.
Nick, listen, we don't want police to come to our doors
Yeah.
later on this week saying, "Do you know anything about the whereabouts of this man? He just committed murder."
So,
The
okay,
prank
He's
gone
missing.
too far.
No,
Yeah.
he's just missing.
Are you not done? We have so much to talk about.
so the trick is
Oh
when I'm
my
when
God,
I'm,
dude.
when I'm on my lunch, I write like 12.
Oh, 12 Post-it
I
notes?
write like 12 Post-it notes, so that way when I walk into if I slip into his office,
Yeah.
I can just.
So is your prank right now to continue this conversation and end the podcast with this prank war story?
My goal is to keep this prank going for a month. If I can keep doing this for a month, I think I might drive him insane.
Okay, so
Driving
now
me
we have a new
insane.
segment is updated on Nick's Post-it note prank for
I'll
the
start
next
taking-
few
I'll
weeks.
start taking. It was funny too
Yeah.
because he was in his office and he's like, "I think I got all of them." I go, "There's 5 that are still in here." He's like, he goes, "Where?"
No, it's not. At that point, don't say even 5. Just be like, that's not all of them. And just walk out. Just like walk out.
He's like,
What do you mean?
He did.
The last post-it note you shall ever leave says goodbye with a question mark.
Dude, he's like,
scary.
dude, it was so funny though because he was like, "You know what? This is ridiculous. I'm calling the vice principal. That's it. I'm like, this has gone too far." He picked up the phone, and on the phone receiver was a Post-it note that says, "Hello there." And he just started dying, going, "How are you so good at this?"
I want him to eat his food and just like find
And
a
a
Post-it
Post-it-
note in his food or something.
Can you believe this man wants to be our HR?
Yeah.
Dude, you know how hilarious that is?
No.
Come on.
No, now I'm fearing for
Hold
my
on,
own safety.
Are you telling me that's not hilarious?
It was funny at first. And then I realized, wait, this man just got his backpack zip tied. And now you're just making this guy mentally insane.
You're weighing the pranks.
Yeah, I know. You
You're
didn't even
like,
flip it inside out.
Yeah.
You just zip tied your backpack.
here's the zip tie. Here's Nick. Like, boom. And all he's doing is just putting post-it notes. That's it. But
so harmless.
It's messing with the mind's, the
You're gonna
man's
make
psyche.
Him, yeah, you're
Like,
gonna make him the next Joker,
Dude, it was so funny because he then mentioned it to the AP and our assistant principal, and he thought it was hilarious.
Cool. Can we move on to the next segment now?
All right,
It's
fine.
been 20 minutes, dude.
It's a long story.
20 minutes. Yeah.
So
It was the same repetitive stuff. This is your prank to us, huh? You just wanted, yeah.
yes.
God, Nick. You know what? Okay, I'm gonna
Comic
start.
strips.
Comic strips. Thank
Yeah.
you. See, that's how you transition.
Hey man, I'm just saying.
Comic
those are good
strips.
stories.
Welcome to Comic Strips, ladies and gentlemen, the segment where we talk about topics that don't merit a 10 to 15 minute conversation, and we try to make sure that Nick doesn't tangent.
mind you, we don't know what these comic strips are.
No, you guys
At least
don't.
me and Nick.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I always like keep it secret just to see what kind of reactions they are. But look, I want you to see something. Look at my shirt. It says "Be kind." That's what I'm gonna try to do. All right,
Never.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to be
Never
nice
seen
because
that. Okay.
I'm sick and I can't really talk and yell. I feel like if I did, I'd probably throw up on camera, and I don't want to do that. So Nick, I'm gonna be kind to you, and I want you to share the same sentiment. Okay? Shut up, dude. Stop. Don't throw things. Our first topic of conversation.
I don't need to throw anything. I just have to-
Markiplier will be directing and starring in his own movie that will be an adaptation of the video game Iron Lung. It is being self-financed.
Cool.
Which is interesting because Markiplier's been doing a lot of work with Corridor Digital recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, are they gonna fund the or like do this?
I don't
special-
think so.
The VFX.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Didn't he become one of their engineers?
So that was the thing, is that the way he was introduced, I thought it was a joke. But then it was like, oh yeah, no, he's actually like a part of it. The
He's
group.
a partner.
Like he's been in a couple of videos, and
Yeah,
he's
of
like,
them. Yeah.
and he's manufactured a couple
He's
of
been
gadgets.
in. He
The
hasn't just
one-
been starring.
yeah,
He's
the-
been in them.
The
Yeah.
one I saw that was the recent one, or at least the one I remember. The last one I watched with him in Corridor Crew was the lights.
Yeah,
The light one.
where they try to put in a bunch of lights.
Yeah, and
somewhere
try
and
to have the
replicate-
same surface as the sun.
Yeah.
I think the first one I saw was when they were trying to make a lightsaber.
Oh, I remember that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
When they were trying to make a lightsaber, and then they were like, your first task, make a lightsaber. And then he had to like actually manufacture a way of making a lightsaber on camera.
Lee Cronin, director of Evil Dead Rise, brought up recently in an interview that he's had conversations with Sam Raimi and
Bruce Campbell.
Facial Alvarez, I believe is the other director, about potentially bringing all the Evil Dead stories together in some sort of
I've heard about that actually.
That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, in some sort of like crossover.
That'd
basically.
be cool.
But it's an interesting concept,
Yeah.
according to his quote. Interesting concept, but it's way off in the horizon.
Yeah, because I think Bruce Campbell has said, and he goes, I think he said he either is taking a break from that whole franchise or he's taking a break from acting.
It's interesting because I've heard that they want to make like this anthology series of Evil Dead stories, which by all means go for it, because it's kind of how it should be, right? Like every couple of years release an Evil Dead thing, and then maybe in the future bring those stories
Did
all
you ever
together.
watch Ash versus the Evil Dead?
No, I've seen the first Evil Dead, and that's it.
Oh, you haven't
Ash-
seen Army of Darkness?
No.
Really?
Ash versus the Evil Dead as a TV show is pretty awesome. Like it's a great show.
It's a great continuation from the Evil Dead movies.
Gotcha.
Especially after Army of Darkness. And then it was really cool too. It's funny because now Bruce Campbell even talks about it. And he was like, who was going to watch it on Showtime? Unlike,
We brought this up in a
like,
recent issue.
yeah, he was like, oh, who's gonna watch it on Showtime?
Some people
And-
found it, but it was like the most torrent show of that year.
Yeah, it was the most torrented show. And then I think he even beat Game of Thrones.
Well, Showtime is such a weird thing because it's like you have to pay a subscription on top of a subscription.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people will do that for just one show.
I think it was like-
That's the thing. Not a lot of people will flush out the cash for Showtime.
Yeah.
HBO though.
It should be included in a package.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think now it's included in Hulu. Hulu has it as a package.
Who has it as a package? Yeah,
And then
you
I think
can get
also Apple TV. Apple TV has a package.
Yeah, but you have
has
to
it as
pay
a package.
extra for those things.
I think it's like an extra like $5 or $6.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
same.
no.
And Amazon does the same thing. Prime time. It's like it's like
I'm
$4.99 a month.
Nah, I'm good.
It's Showtime.
I have Hulu, ESPN Plus, Disney Plus. There's too many.
Plus, Showtime doesn't really have a lot of shows.
No,
I mean,
that's
Shameless is done. Ash the Evil Dead is done. I think
That
what
got
else?
canceled. That wasn't done.
Yeah, or
The Ash and Evil Dead.
But it had a
That had a series
it had a
finale, but it
series
got
finale,
canceled.
but
Yeah,
it did get
they ended
canceled.
it up on their own terms. As of 4/20, Twitter verification is no more. So
Really?
So what ended up happening here? Funny story. A lot of fake accounts started popping up.
Mm-hmm.
Not just impersonating actors and
Mhm.
actresses, but impersonating studios that develop video games and movies.
Mm-hmm.
And they were releasing fake information about upcoming releases and stuff that people were getting excited for.
Such as.
So like different video game releases, I think they were like teasing like Legend of Zelda stuff that was supposed to come out in a couple like different movie newses. That's kind of what I heard in the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
But Elon Musk being Elon Musk,
Yeah.
decided to comment on a rumor that was going around saying that Elon Musk was personally paying for certain people's verification status.
Mm.
He decided to comment back saying yes.
Mhm.
And he stated that he was paying for people like LeBron James, William Shatner, and Stephen King. Stephen King. So, yeah, there's that. Verification no more. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people on Twitter right now are kind of like making jokes about it, putting like a blue square in there and kind of like whatnot. But it sucks because now you can't really tell who's who anymore.
Listen, Twitter's always been a cesspool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been a mixed bag.
I've enjoyed it because of James Gunn's tweets.
James Gunn is good, but what stops? See, and that's the problem though, because I know James Gunn is really good at like releasing stuff with his movies and kind of going, oh yeah, like stay local on his Twitter. But what stops anybody from taking his exact photo, putting James Gunn, and then like maybe putting a 1 at the end,
Yeah.
or something else, and then just going like, oh yeah, I'm sure
Because people won't notice it. Recently, James Gunn did tweet out that he has inspiration. It was kind of interesting because it was just like, cool, now I have 2 more movies to watch because this is kind of inspiration for him. He said that the movies that he recommends his crew to watch is one called Villainous and Carter, and they're directed by a South Korean director. So he tweeted this out recently, and I'm like, I'm looking it up. One you can find on Peacock, the other's on Netflix. I think Carter is on Netflix, and the Villainous is on Peacock. But yeah, it sucks because like Twitter allows you to connect to those people, but without that verification, because no one really wants to pay those $9 a month or $8 or whatever it is now.
I think Instagram charges like $15 to have
Which is
that
ridiculous.
verification.
I think it was also. I think that's also a Dave Chappelle joke, isn't it? Where apparently somebody was tweeting as Dave Chappelle, and like everybody thought it was his.
It was him.
actual
Oh, because it
account.
was a blue check mark. Yeah.
Because it had a blue check mark, and then apparently he started a beef with Cat Williams, and then they both talked,
Oh, I remember hearing about that. Yeah.
and then him and Cat Williams both talked, and then he was like, "Hey man, apparently we're at beef or something like that," and then Cat Williams is like, "I guess I don't," because Cat Williams doesn't have a Twitter, and neither does Dave Chappelle, so it was 2 fake accounts arguing with each other,
Which is stupid, dude.
and then. Literally,
negative and negative.
and the news was picking it up, going like, "Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle and Cat Williams are fighting, and they're feuding." And then both actual people are going like, "I don't even know. I didn't even know this was happening."
The way I see this is that it's Elon Musk getting really bad publicity to get some good publicity out of it, because Twitter is consistently on the news now.
Yeah.
It's a dumpster fire.
It's a dumpster fire.
It
It's a dumpster fire that people are pointing and looking at, going like, "Oh look, Twitter again,"
Well,
and then they should go about their day.
It's weird because now, especially with Elon Musk, like SpaceX, they just had that rocket explode. It didn't even last 4 minutes in the air, and then it exploded. And then now
No one was on the ship, by the way.
it was just a rocket.
A big old dump truck of a rocket.
But that's the thing, though, is that you have these instances where you just kind of see Elon Musk kind of going down, kind of spiraling. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised in maybe like 2 to 3 years, if this continues, him being politely asked to resign.
I think we're getting to that point that he's getting way too into his head.
Where his board is eventually going to go, you can see yourself out.
You need to relax, because his tweets aren't even funny anymore. They used to be funny. They used to be very memey, but now it's kind of like, like he's rubbing his own ego kind of memes, and it's like it doesn't make any sense. Like, I get it. You're a target. People make fun of you. Cool. It was funny at first, but now it's the same joke over and over again. It's like, you're not cool, buddy. Come on. Like, I don't know. It's Elon Musk is a weird person right now. We'll see what happens in the future.
Yeah.
He's also a monster.
Yeah. Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection released this last Friday. You guys familiar with the games at all? The Battle Network series?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So here was the thing. The Battle Network series was a series of games that released for like 3 years, 6 games, 6 games total, 3 to 4 years. lifespan. It was like 2001 to like 2005 or something like that, right? A lot of people either really loved it or really hated it.
I think it started on the Dreamcast, didn't it?
No, it started on the Game Boy Advance.
Was it?
It was a purely Game Boy Advance game.
Okay.
So the weird thing about this game is that people either really loved it or really hated it. Huh? Okay. When the release happened, and this is how you can tell a video game is actually going to sell well, apparently people could not find physical copies. It's sold out everywhere. And on the Nintendo Switch market, number 2, beating a bunch of Mario games. The only one it didn't beat, Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart 8 is pretty good.
Yeah, but it beat everything else. So congrats to Capcom and the Mega Man Battle Network series, because those games are fun. I would recommend it.
Capcom's been on it, man.
Capcom, but it's their legacy stuff that they've been doing.
Oh, yeah.
Like Resident Evil 4.
Resident Evil's still been pretty solid. But Resident Evil 7 was pretty good.
Yeah, all the Resident Evil stuff, but that's because it's got a good foundation into it. They haven't really released any new IPs. You know what game I missed from Capcom? Lost Planet. Lost Planet was pretty good.
Yeah.
It's another Capcom game.
Exactly.
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Monster Hunter.
Oh, Time Crisis.
Oh.
I haven't gotten
Rest in peace arcades though.
I haven't seen a solid Time Crisis come out.
Well, because how are you supposed to do on-rail shooters now?
You can do something on the Switch.
I know.
A VR on-rail shooter.
That would be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That would be pretty sick.
Why haven't they done that?
Right? Like that would be pretty cool, because I remember back when it was on a PlayStation, and then you had to actually hook the controller into your AV cables in the back, and then you had to have like a screen with it. And there was so much setup.
Yeah,
it was so much setup in order for you to.
You just go to the local nickel and just play it like
or Peter Piper.
Oh yeah.
Well, the reason why I liked it on my PlayStation was because for one, it was free, and then 2, you can keep playing. Like nobody's behind you, because whenever I'm at an arcade, it's always I feel like it's weird because nobody really knows arcade etiquette anymore.
No.
Nobody knows arcade etiquette. Like, okay, if you want next on a machine, how do you do it?
Put a quarter.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I put a quarter, this kid cut in front of me. I was like, oh, bro, I put a quarter. And he was like, and? I'm like,
what does that mean?
And you're like, what does that mean? And I'm like,
it means I get to kick your ass.
it means I get to beat you up now.
Yeah, it means I get to whip your butt all over this nickel right now. Like,
back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day.
Which also,
no cap.
That's also, I hate you so much. That's also
be kind. Be kind.
I hate you so much. That's actually also a really great date night. So I took Monica to Disneyland, and then down the street from Disneyland is one of the only nickels in the area.
What?
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
it's
There's still a nickel?
It's down the street from Disneyland.
Oh,
It's literally right there. It's right next to the Lee's Coffee.
Nerd trip.
Down the street. It's
Do
like
the arcade machines still work? Or
yeah, dude. And they have the big bags. It's like literally like $10.
What games do they have over there? What
they have the brand new Time Crises. They have Mario Kart. They have they even have a free section. Like
I remember those.
The
yeah,
free section.
It has the free section where it's like
that was like the
Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, like
all
all the
these
poor
other
kids
ones.
go.
Yeah,
You
and
just pay to get in. And just like
yeah, and then it has all the ticket games. It has everything else. It was fun. Like,
the nickel that was in the Montebello.
Yeah.
I remember that
Buffalo
was
Wild Wings now.
Yeah, it was where the Buffalo Wild Wings is at. But they had the F-Zero game.
This one
F-Zero GX.
This one has Mario Kart.
Yeah, the Mario Kart's whatever.
So I mean, it was cool.
Every place has Mario Kart.
It's not a big arcade, but it was a lot of fun.
Nerd trip just to beat Time Crisis, because I've only beaten one. I've beaten Time Crisis 3.
Really?
Yeah.
I've beaten Time
arcade,
Crisis.
not cheating by playing on a PlayStation.
Yeah, no, I've beaten Time Crisis on.
Yeah, we had to reload to shoot off the screen.
Yeah, my fingers were like this for a solid week.
You ever beaten House of the Dead?
Ooh.
Yes.
I've beaten House of the Dead. Have you?
First one.
I've beaten House of the Dead 3.
Is that the one with the Uzis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andy and I played it. We got almost to the end, and then we were out of money. Yeah.
Oh, you suck.
Okay, let's do it. Let's beat it, dude.
Let's go. Let's go to Nickel. We can go to Nickel.
We can go to round one or round one.
Round one has it too.
Round one or what is it? Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, they both have it, but that's besides the point. If you really want a good like date night or anything else, take her to downtown Disney. Head over to Nickel right after.
All right, there you go.
It's cheap as hell.
There you go.
Dude, me and Monica walked in. I think I dropped like $20. Dude, we were there for 4 hours.
That's pretty good. Dang.
and if you go a little bit down the street, you can go get some of that Italian ice.
Oh,
Joe's Ice.
Yeah.
You can go to Joe's
good,
Ice. It's right down the street. And then if you want food, you can go to Roscoe's.
bro. That's
Like,
how you know
literally
that we're
right
from
next
the
to it.
SoCal area.
Yeah,
Big
man.
boy.
It was you can find some good
We're
stuff.
SoCal boys, dude.
Yeah, man,
So
you can find some good
boys,
stuff.
yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on. I actually need you to look this up. Avatar Generations: The Rise of Kyoshi released new footage, new images. It's going to be a cell phone. It's a phone-based game, basically, but it's going to be canon to the Avatar lore. It's interesting because they released a couple images. They released
Kyoshi's got freckles.
No, yes,
Kyoshi got freckles.
they released Kyoshi without makeup,
Yeah.
the warrior makeup, and I'm like, dude, that's pretty badass.
She was pretty good. She was pretty good.
Yep. She looks pretty interesting. And then they released her instructor, one of the Firebender instructors, one of the Earthbender instructors, and the daughter of the Firebender instructor will be her girlfriend.
Dope.
Here's the thing. I love how anytime someone in the show is bi, lesbian, or gay, the crowd automatically goes like, bruh, it doesn't need to be in there. Why did they have that in there? It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. There's only one aspect of the show I disagree with, and that's with Korra. Because I don't believe that was fully integrated and explained well enough for me to believe that Korra ended up with Asami.
In all fairness,
That was it.
Korra, I know that Kyoshi, like in her books, it's hinted out that she is she is lesbian.
She has a lover.
She has a lover. She has a girl. She has a girl that she's interested in. I do disagree though that immediately just because she is a strong woman, that means she has to be a lesbian. I do disagree with that.
Yeah,
like
I see what you mean.
You can be a strong girl and also
Let's
like,
put this into
still
perspective
be
first.
feminine.
Let's put this into perspective, okay? We got to be very careful with this topic because it's three guys talking about, this aspect.
Yeah.
Just because
Three-
Bryan's not an ally doesn't mean
Stop
that
it.
we're not. Okay, Bryan is not an ally.
Nick, be kind. Be kind.
I'm being kind.
Be kind.
to them.
No.
I'm letting them know about your non-alliness.
We would
gonna go
believe you if it was be kind in Pride.
Yeah.
Pride
And-
colors.
If it was
Pride colors.
If it was a rainbow shirt, maybe
Yeah.
I'd
I'm gonna
believe
go to
you.
Walmart. I'm gonna get one of those gel blasters, dude. And every time Nick misbehaves and says something stupid, I'm just gonna shoot him with
That
that.
sounds kind of dirty. Like,
Why?
I'm gonna hit him with a gel blaster.
I'm gonna get you with my gel blaster.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit Nick with my gel blaster.
Go to the GameSpot website. Go to the GameSpot website because you can see it there. But basically, they've released all those images, and then they also released an image of a guy that is an Earthbender who's the false avatar because they believe that he was the avatar
Yes.
and not Kyoshi.
Yes.
Which is going to be interesting because how do you not know that someone's a false avatar if they can't bend the other elements?
Well, because I think it's kind of interesting because they're kind of taking it from Buddhist religion
Uh-huh.
of the Dalai Lama.
Okay.
Or is it the Dalai Lama? I think it is. Or is it? Shoot. Who's in charge of the Buddhist religion? I forget.
I don't know.
I think it's the Dalai Lama, isn't it?
Sure.
I'm pretty sure.
Disclaimer,
Sure it is.
Nick doesn't know.
I'm pretty sure it's the Dalai Lama. But anyway,
And now you're going to get
I'm pretty
canceled
sure.
again.
No,
dude.
because there's an actual Dalai Lama, and then China has their version of the Dalai Lama.
What's your point? You're just digging yourself into a bigger hole.
No. Okay, so basically, China has their own version of the Dalai Lama that is controlled by China.
Okay.
And then there's an actual Dalai Lama that is by the religion. This is the Dalai
Sure.
Lama that gets resurrected every single time.
Okay.
So basically, what they're saying is that as soon as this Dalai Lama does,
Oh, I see what you
the
mean.
new Dalai Lama takes over, and then he is now. When he
now
makes
the Avatar.
rules, when he makes rules for the people, it's from
They believe that it was going to be the predecessor was going to be this person, but it actually ended up going somewhere else.
And
that makes
not,
sense.
Not only that, but also it's controlled by the government. So that means that what the government says that people should be doing, then the Dalai Lama is saying that they should be doing. So then people are taking it as kind of as the religion.
Is Kyoshi the only female avatar in
No.
the series that we see?
No, because there's also female airbenders. There's been a couple of female avatars. She's
Okay.
the most popular.
She's the most popular, but because
We
I'm trying to think back in the series.
we spend the most time with Roku, Kyoshi.
I forget you haven't seen the show. My bad. Sorry.
Yeah,
That's why I was
I know,
looking at
he's-
you.
you're staring at Rene going like, "Hey, Rene." So,
I was like waiting for you
The
to
show-
respond, and I'm just
the
like,
show
oh,
that
you
you
haven't
haven't
seen it?
responding. I
a
was
show
like,
that you
yeah.
haven't seen,
Mhm.
but you spend most of the time with Kyoshi and Roku.
Yeah,
Those are like the big ones. But remember Aang does when he's going through his avatar
he connects
cycle,
through several other ones.
he says, "Well, why don't I talk to another airbender?" And then it's a female airbender.
It's a female. That's right. Okay,
and then
now I
she
remember.
and then she then says like, "No, you still got to murk this dude."
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it's against our solemn belief of being like, non-harming. And she's like, yeah, but like, he's a bad guy. Like,
listen. So the scene because he's trying to figure out, it's again, I understand you can't get through the first book because the first book is really slow, but the next two are like phenomenal.
That and I hate the fandom.
Yes,
no,
I agree. No, I agree with it. I agree. The fandom's pretty.
I hate the fandom.
Toxic.
I honestly, I enjoy things just to enjoy things, and I ignore fandoms. So I
must be easy.
If that's the case, then I would never be into Star Wars.
That's true.
Like,
and he would never talk bad about Twitter because he does.
But the idea is that because he's a monk, he doesn't. He's like a vegetarian. He doesn't believe in hurting people.
Don't like him.
He doesn't.
No, but it's funny. So that entire scene is like he's meditating, trying to figure out because, like Nick was saying, he's a monk. He wants to try to stop the Fire Lord without violence,
without killing him, because everybody says you're gonna have to kill this dude.
So he's going through every single avatar in his previous generations, and they're all like, "Dude, murk the dude,
kill him."
Murk him. He's like, "What if I talk to another Airbender?" And then the Airbender power he's just like, "Look, man, I'm a monk. We gotta murk the dude."
Yeah. Listen, I took a solemn of no violence at all. Kill the
what's the line? What's the line from The Hateful Eight? Where not all people need to hang.
Oh yeah. But there are some mean bastards that need to be hanged, or something like that.
Yeah,
mean bastards need to be hanged. Not everyone needs to be hanged, but mean bastards need to be hanged.
I'm excited.
It's something like that. Yeah.
Point of it is
it's gonna bother me the whole episode.
Point of it, I'm excited for this game. We'll see how the story develops from there because we need more Avatar. Moving on, the watercolor art of, and I'm gonna mispronounce this name. I'm so sorry, Ken Sugimori, who was an artist for the original 151 Pokemon, has been finally found. The reason being this is important is because a lot of the Pokemon that have been scanned for digital art are misrepresented in their color. And these original watercolor paintings show the actual true colors of the Pokemon.
You only need to hang mean bastards, but mean bastards you need to hang.
Yeah, you want to put that quote after this.
Yeah, because it's Pokemon,
Stop. So good news for Pokemon people.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah.
Moving on to Nintendo news. Shigeru Miyamoto says that no doubt there will be more Nintendo movies on the way.
No
after the
doubt.
massive success
this
of
one.
the Mario movie.
So what do you think? I think it's Link. I think
here's
the easy one is Link.
That's too easy.
No. Too easy, and you're gonna mess that up.
Star Fox.
Yes.
Star Fox would be a sick one.
Yeah.
Yes. Or Pikmin.
Make F-Zero. But
that would be like
F-Zero,
no one.
and it competes against Fast and Furious.
No, so you make F-Zero.
No, see, you said that, and I don't want it.
Yeah, no. Make it F-Zero.
It's my family.
But make it like, but do it in the aspect of speed racing. No, but do it in the same like kind of way.
Down.
Speed Racer.
Directed by
the Wachowskis to do it.
Wachowski siblings.
Yeah, dude. Get the Wachowskis to do it.
Hell
Man.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude. You know how cool that would be?
Dude, that's so
Emily
awesome.
Hirsch
Dude.
as Falcon.
Yeah, dude. It's a spiritual
Show your
successor.
move.
Dude, a spiritual successor to Speed Racer.
Falcon kick.
Falcon kick.
Here's the thing.
Show your move. Oh my god. No, stop. Stop. Falcon, get back in the hover car. Stop talking.
No.
He's outside on the racing track. He's just standing outside.
Show your moves. Show your moves.
He's just like,
You can't tell me what to do.
Falco finger.
Here's the thing. If they end up making a Legend of Zelda movie, that's the wrong move. Because they've scrapped the timeline so many times. It's annoying. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, where does it fit in the timeline? They don't even know.
Know what? But
no, they don't even know. But I think it's like the non-hero's journey or something like that.
So remember the Legend of Zelda, the green book that has everything in there? Yeah, that's garbage. Because
they
now
took that out,
yeah, because now the blue one is canon.
No, see, here's my thing though, is that I feel like because Majora's Mask you can never do. I think if you just did.
No,
like
don't even do Ocarina. Just make any story.
No, you could just do
make any story.
Ocarina's the more palatable
But it's
story.
dumb.
I know, but what I'm saying is you go basic and then maybe
Unpopular opinion.
like
Ocarina of Time is
weirder
not the
stuff.
best Legend of Zelda. Twilight Princess.
Okay. In all
I
fairness,
have to ingest that. What you just said.
in all fairness, my favorite two are Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess. So I mean,
Twilight Princess, Minish Cap, and Wind Waker.
Why is it up with you and Minish Cap, man?
Dude, Minish Cap is
no one
dope.
likes Minish Cap.
I love Minish Cap.
No
No
one
one-
chooses to like
Dude,
Minish
the Minish
Cap.
are freaking adorable.
The
dude.
Minish you had to play it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I loved it. It's good.
You
Only
take
you.
a survey of all Legend of Zelda fans and they say which one's the top favorite. It's always like Link of the Past. And
Twilight,
yeah.
probably Twilight Princess is usually
No,
in the top
it's
10.
the top 10, but it's always like Link of the Past, Twilight Princess, maybe Wind Waker.
Ocarina of Time is always top for people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Ocarina.
That's how I know
That's
they
like a
never
top
played anything
5.
else,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I played through Minish Cap. I know. And Four Swords.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
Four Swords is dope.
But
Yeah.
okay, but here's my thing.
Without a friend.
I feel like if you just go
By myself.
basic, if you go basic Legend of Zelda and retell the story,
Yeah.
I think you can do it. I
I feel like if they were gonna do it, they would do it where they take aspects from different games and mash it into one movie.
yeah, I think that would be
Yeah.
kind of sick.
Yeah.
So we got to move on because there's one final piece of news before we start talking about our main topic.
Yeah.
Or one of our main topics for the show.
Oh my god, what about if you did like a universe and then the final movie after
Smash
you
Brothers.
Yeah.
You did Smash
Everyone
Brothers.
wants that.
Good job.
That's
Everyone
it.
wants
Yeah,
that,
that's
but
the
no.
fans want. Yeah,
Yeah,
honestly,
but the fans
I
don't
would
know
wa-
what they want.
Yeah.
Nintendo fans don't know what they want, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right now.
I want Master Hand.
Master Hand,
I was
these
telling you, I
nuts.
was like, can you imagine if you see, because you hear like the thud at the end of the end
See
credits
this?
of,
See this?
yeah.
This is my Master Hand.
yeah.
What were you doing when you did this?
What are you talking about?
Because Master Hand always does the rocket.
Oh, that's when you run, dude. You
Or he
go off
flicks
screen for
you,
a bit.
He's like,
And he's like,
yeah. Or he goes,
Last piece of news. Guys, we should stop talking about Nintendo. Okay?
Why?
Because there's a man by the name of Gary Bowser who was sentenced to 40 years in prison, 40 months in prison,
because he,
and was fined $4.5 million.
was it for kidnapping?
No.
yeah, is he kidnapping a
Kidnapped
blonde woman?
peach. No. No. Do you guys want to guess what his actual reason was for being arrested?
Was
Copyright infringement from Nintendo?
Ooh. Yeah.
it- you serious?
So here's the story, okay?
Really? Because he was born and named Bowser?
No.
Like, hey.
In all fairness, that was a total guess.
Yeah.
I do not know the story. That was a guess.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
2 members of this team called Team
4-star?
X Cutter or something like that.
Yeah.
They were a team that was made up in 2020, and they sold chips that allowed people to basically purchase the chips, mod their Switches, and they were able to play pirated games.
Oh, okay.
Well, Nintendo caught on. They raided his home,
Mm-hmm.
basically imprisoned 2 people, which
For the-
included him.
This is for the Switch, right?
This is for the Switch. They sentenced him to 40 months and $4.5 million.
oh my God.
40
2023,
months what?
40 months in prison
Okay.
and $4.5 million in fine.
That is ridiculous.
Oh, wait. Nick, the story's not done. Nintendo is not done
Is it just
with the torture.
Is it just a ROM?
It's because
it rips ROM from the internet
Yes.
and then you can then play it on your Switch?
because Nintendo lost all that money. Here's the thing. His sentence has been reduced.
Mhm.
He's now letting let go sometime this month or next month.
Yeah.
Early next month, right? That's cool.
Yeah.
He gets to be a free man, right?
Does he have to work at a Nintendo factory?
He could be.
If he does, that'd be hilarious.
Oh no.
Can he not make
you
an
ready?
Nintendo
You ready?
account?
This is gonna make you not laugh. So his fine went from $4.5 million to now owing $10 million
Why?
because Nintendo said so. Now, while he's been in prison, because he does receive a little bit of money from prison, he is making payments of $25 installments to pay the $10 million fine.
No way.
Hang on. So far, he's paid $175 out of that $10 million fine.
No, really?
Oh,
Dude.
hang on. We're not done.
No, that's gonna be transferred over to like after he's dead, like to his next of kin.
Hang on.
Yeah.
We're not done.
Yeah.
Change your name.
For the rest of his life,
Yeah.
when he now gets a job,
Mm-hmm.
he will owe Nintendo 25 to 30% of his salary to pay off the $10 million fine.
Dang.
So this is a life sentence debt towards Nintendo.
That's crazy. And that's in America?
Wait, so he went from
That was the-
owning 45 million to
Owing
10?
4.5
Oh,
million
4.5
Why-
million
why-
to 10 million.
to doubling that. Yeah.
Huh.
But why would but I don't understand why it was
I think they
doubled.
did the math. I think they did the math and they're like,
Oh
you know
no,
what?
I don't think Nintendo does math. I think it's like you steal a copy of Mario Kart,
Yeah.
you owe us $10 million.
That's a little-
Yeah, but okay. In all fairness, don't do that.
I mean,
No, because
look at the result. Yeah.
No, because okay, so as somebody who
He was the one that had to set an example. That's what it was. Yeah,
No.
that's what it
Did
was.
you hear about Point Crow?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There's a YouTuber by the name of Point Crow who was like a huge Breath of the Wild like Let's Player on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
He recently got copy struck twice.
Mm-hmm.
2 marks on his YouTube channel. 1 more, his channel's basically gone. There goes his entire
Well,
livelihood.
the same thing happened with Angry Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
As
Nintendo?
somebody who used to work for a company that used to get cease and desist letters from Nintendo all the time.
You have one framed?
No, because it wasn't addressed to me.
Restraining order.
It was addressed to the company. But the thing is that you have to. There's specific things that you have to do in order to not like
Get caught.
have the wrath of Nintendo, especially if you're downloading ROMs or if you're selling ROMs or you're doing anything else, it hardcore pisses off Nintendo. So even if you have a system that, let's just say, plays all of the old school games or anything like that, if it at any point shows that you can dump ROMs on it, they would be super pissed.
This is the stupid thing about them though, because
this even goes back to N64, GameCube. They're really okay on the N64. I remember we were trying to develop an N64 portable for the longest time. That was that we had the schematics for it. They figured it out, everything like that, and then every single time that we were trying to do it, immediately we would get a cease and desist, even when there was just a rumor that we had an N64.
Do you
portable.
breathe on the potential of an N64 portable? Nintendo all of a sudden goes like,
no, I'm being
there's
serious.
a disturbance.
Yeah. No, dude,
They're
for
probably
the
listening
winds
to
of
right
Wind
now. They're
Waker.
listening to us right now. They're like, wait.
What? Sorry, say what?
Oh, yeah, it was. But
They put their address at the beginning of the show. Send the letter.
It was so funny though, because I remember when I used to work for them, the system that we had, they used to tell me it dumps the ROM. Like it does dump the ROM.
Yeah.
But the thing is that in the machine, it recognizes there's a single switch that's inside of the pin. So when you push the cartridge in, it reads that a cartridge is inside the system. But as soon as you take it out, the pin gets moved, so it then erases the ROM as soon as it happens.
I see.
But what you could do, let's just say that pin was automatically pushed down. Somehow you were able to...
It stays down.
It stays down. So if you were to then put the cartridge in, pull it out, the ROM would then stay on the system.
Yeah.
And then you can then, download it, edit it, do
See,
anything like that.
this is kind of the information that makes Nintendo mad. Now, if we get a letter because of you, because now you've revealed potential secrets to accessing ROMs.
My NDA has been passed off for a while. It's fine. I didn't
Potential
say,
trade secrets. You get raided by the FBI
I
now.
didn't say what company it was.
No, that's for sure. But they know they're keeping up with the Nerds Network.
If you were to sleuth,
Company
I'm
from
pretty sure
12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California.
Why would you do this? Why would
I know Susan's gonna get that. She's like, "What the hell is this?"
We advertised at the beginning of the show,
I know,
dude.
I like how Susan's just gonna get a cease and desist from Nintendo, and she's gonna be like,
What
did I
do?"
What did I do?" Directed towards Susan. It's like what? It's like what did I do?
Yeah.
All right, that wraps up the end of comic strips, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be moving on to our main topics. We're going to be talking about,
Crazy.
10 million.
That is crazy.
10 million.
And he has to
Dude.
pay so for not having a job right now, for not
25 in
$25.
installments, and
That's
then
crazy.
25 to 30%.
working. Is it a monthly payment?
Of his salary, 25 to 30% of his salary.
So every year. he has
yeah.
to-
So if this
he
guy
gets paid.
earns $100,000
Mhm.
every year, 25,000
So
goes straight
before
to that
before it
fine.
even comes to your paycheck, before it goes to your bank account, it pays them first.
Rip,
Like the
rippity rip, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nintendo owns you.
Dude, that
dude.
guy's credit is probably destroyed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no,
It is probably ragged.
that happens to Bowser's, man. There you go, rippity
Dude.
rip. Moving on, it's Morphin time, ladies and gentlemen. Power Rangers once and always released. Stop! I just had that song out of my head, dude.
I know.
Do you
And
think
now it's back in your
do,
head?
do you think he sings that while he's in his cell?
Can we morph, please? Can we not talk about this? Are you happy?
No,
Have you shifted?
never
into-
in life.
Okay, let's
But thank you for asking.
Let's shift this conversation into Turbo, and it was a good one, huh? It was
That was a
good.
good one.
It was good.
Shifted to Turbo.
The least,
Power Rangers.
The least liked show,
Dude, Turbo
too.
was not
Dude,
that
Turbo
bad.
is sick. What are you talking about?
See,
No,
it doesn't
fans
compete
don't like
against Zeo.
Turbo.
Yeah,
Dude, I love
it
Turbo.
does.
I know.
It doesn't
Some
compete
people
against Zeo.
Yeah.
Zeo's like
Well, that's because Zeo is
Zeo
like
slaps.
Zeo is like
I was always Lightspeed Rescue, dude.
Lightspeed Rescue's good.
Lightspeed Rescue's pretty
Lightspeed
good.
Rescue.
I've been in space. In Space is pretty good.
I like
So
Lost
is
Galaxy.
Lost Galaxy slaps.
Yeah.
Dude, so there was, I forget the YouTuber's name, but I watched this entire history of Power Rangers, like a 25-minute long video. I didn't know that they had 3 different generations: the Saban, the Disney, and the Hasbro era.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that RPM was the Disney era.
It was the end
So
of the
is-
Disney. Yeah, it was like
I was
the
like,
last
what?
one
So
right
is-
So
before.
is SPD.
Yeah.
And SPD, and I was
Yeah.
like, dude, RPM, I thought was like not that good. I like the morphing sequence.
RPM was the more kind of like breaking the fourth wall.
It's interesting
Power Rangers.
because
Yeah.
you can tell when Saban has it because everything looks really cheap. You can tell when Disney has it because everything looks expensive.
Yeah.
And then like the effects.
When
even the
Disney got it,
monsters.
they did the whole like CGI Megazords.
But here's the thing though.
Mhm.
Everything is really expensive, but the storylines were really weak.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know how to write Power Rangers and make them like very good characters.
Sorry, 4 generations: Saban, Disney, Saban, Hasbro.
And then is it Hasbro right now or Spec?
Hasbro.
it's Hasbro right now.
It's Hasbro right now.
Yeah, Hasbro is
So
Beast
technically-
Morphers,
yeah.
Dino,
Which is like the Nickelodeon
And then
era.
Fury.
Cosmic Theory.
Yeah.
Cosmic Fury is the next one.
Yeah,
that's
it's
on
the
Netflix.
Nickelodeon transitioning to
Netflix.
Netflix era now.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see because also they've gotten into more and more. Well, they've gotten into more and more mature topics
Yeah.
as they've
Yeah.
been in with Nickelodeon, with Hasbro. Like Hasbro isn't afraid to kind of do these like really weird, like these dark stories. Disney
Yeah.
was always really afraid of it.
Well, RPM was a great story of the origin of how the Power Rangers, or how the like story came to be of the Power Rangers era, where you find out that the main scientist that was helping the Rangers
Right.
was the one that caused the end of the world.
Right.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize it was a post-apocalyptic.
Yeah,
I didn't
post-
watch RPM.
Yeah, no one did, but
Yeah,
it tackled on more serious stories.
I gotta watch RPM.
Well, I mean, same thing with because that's the thing though. Because I always think it's really funny whenever they go like, "Oh yeah, like this is the first time Power Rangers has killed somebody," and I'm like, "No, no,
they've
Power
done it
Rangers-
before.
Power Rangers
Yeah.
killed a couple Power Rangers before."
Oh yeah, there
Like,
was
it's-
one of like in Lost Galaxy.
Galaxy,
Yeah,
the
they
Pink
killed
Ranger
off a
guys.
Pink Ranger. Yeah,
And then what was it? Nostradama for the villain from In Space becomes the Pink Ranger.
yeah.
And because then they go on this like giant thing where they're trying to search for the pink quasar saber.
Oh yeah.
And like it's been passed around through like the underworld and what was it? It's kind of like a Dirty Harry
Yeah.
where they're just like they're breaking into like buildings and they're just like, tell us where it is.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my god, like Jesus.
Mystic Force was also pretty like intense too.
Yeah, they had to deal with like parent abandonment and stuff like
Yeah.
that with
The
the
Red
Red
Ranger's in
Ranger.
jail now.
The Mystic Force one or
Yeah.
the
Yeah, Mystic Force Ranger, he's in jail.
I know that the
He killed
one
his,
I know that the Wild Force Ranger is in jail.
Oh, Wild
because he
Force,
stabbed
yeah.
his
Roommate with a
roommate.
real
roommate
sword.
with a real sword. He got too much into it.
And
You
then,
Yeah!
well, that's the thing though, is because also
He was waiting for the sparks and just saw blood.
Well, and then the Mystic.
We should be laughing about that.
Ninja Storm Ranger. He also passed.
He died in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, he also passed because due to mental health.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I mean, there's been a couple of like just like dark
Power Rangers
stories.
has a really down real life kind of situation.
Well,
A lot of the Rangers really kind of like have a tough transition out of it
Well,
afterwards.
it was,
the actors. Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Some
a lot of them weren't paid scale. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
them were like paid garbage, and they were made to work like 20 to 48 hour days.
And if people didn't know, if it wasn't for the Power Rangers, the actors union wouldn't be a
that's
thing.
true.
That's true.
Especially on TV shows,
Yeah.
just because of how poorly they were treated.
So
Oh yeah.
you
guys
know
don't
what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Power Rangers has significance in Hollywood.
Yeah,
It does actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
basically
if y'all make
child
fun of
labor.
Power Rangers, just know that if it wasn't for Power Rangers, your actors probably wouldn't exist. Your favorite actors and actresses wouldn't exist now.
So, just to get into it, Power Rangers once and always.
It's a continuation story of the Mighty Morphin series.
Or the Mighty Morphin Sons.
Now,
Yeah.
to kind of like put, because I think this is the biggest question in terms of this this
Mhm.
movie, right? Who are the Rangers that pop up at the beginning of the show? It's the original Rangers of Jason, Tommy,
The
Billy,
original 6.
Zach, Trini,
Yeah.
and Kimberly.
But we only see Zach and Billy.
Yes.
They
So
were,
Because-
they were the only actors that showed up.
the only ones, according to Amy Jo Johnson, the only actors that were capable of going there on their own like choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because apparently Austin St. John couldn't make it because of like flight issues or some sort of
Yeah.
scheduling, but supposedly he was also in trouble with the law or something like that.
That's what I heard too. Yeah.
And then
Really?
yeah.
Yeah, he was apparently he was into some legal issues or something like that. He couldn't,
couldn't leave
leave.
the state?
Yeah, he couldn't leave where he was at. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Jason David Frank, he passed
He passed on it, but
after.
yeah.
He passed after
Mhm.
they offered the role to come back. So he didn't pass until like
Well,
way after this
well,
movie was done.
Because I'm pretty sure he was doing the White Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was also. So the thing is that Jason David Frank, in general, before this whole special was coming out, he was just a busy dude. You know, he runs his own dojo. He also does signings. He does appearances, and then he's also doing a fan film with Bat in the Sun.
Well,
You know, that's-
which is also getting a theatrical release.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is great. You know, get to see his final role in it,
Yeah.
especially as a Power Ranger and stuff.
Because they were still in the middle of filming that.
Oh yeah, they've been filming that for like
And that was a passion
4
project of Dave.
4 years. They've been
Jason's.
working on this thing.
Yeah, so I know that was a passion project of his, and he passed, and then
Amy Jo Johnson said it wasn't the money.
it was
just
it was something personal.
it's
was
a personal reason
yeah.
she doesn't want to share.
Yeah.
People
That's
need to
fair.
respect that.
Which
Yeah.
is fair.
That's
Yeah.
fair. But I was talking about it with a customer here because I was playing it here at the store, and it's like, it's unfortunate we didn't get everyone because, you know, it's a 30-year anniversary.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice to cool and see at least an appearance.
But
you know,
can
But
I
they've already-
can I save
But
this?
they've already done. But they have already done these appearances.
So yes,
before with
yeah.
RPM with
But the thing
Forever
is,
Red.
but the thing
Forever
is
Red.
that we never got one with
the original.
everyone comes back.
yeah.
With
It's
you know
always-
with
it's always a
David
selection.
Yost and the actor that played Zach, and obviously we
Walter
can't, yeah,
Jones?
Walter
Walter
Jones,
Jones.
yeah, and then you know we could have had everyone come back.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I would have
to
waited.
kind of-
I could have waited
To
for
kind
it.
of salvage the idea of not every original Ranger being on this 30th
Mhm.
anniversary, right? Is that Walter Jones
Mhm.
and David Yost are the two individuals that had really unfortunate interactions in the scenes that were made public. David Yost was
Mhm.
made, was pushed around a lot because
Mhm.
of his sexuality,
Mm-hmm.
and Walter Jones dealt with a lot of racism on
Mhm.
set.
Do you know,
So-
do you know who Billy is named after?
Who?
Bryan Cranston.
Really?
Because Bryan Cranston was a voice. Bryan Cranston got his start voicing the monsters
Yeah.
in
That's
Power
right.
Rangers.
That's right.
And he had voiced so many of them that they were like, "Oh, we'll just name Billy after you." So then that's why his name is Billy Cranston.
Ah, that makes sense.
That's why his name is Billy Cranston.
That's cool. Fun
So-
fun
Yeah.
fact again. Another fun fact.
Yeah,
Nerd approved.
It's interesting. So like a lot of actors have got their start
Mm-hmm.
doing some
So
kind
what
of
you're
a
saying is
Power
Power
Ranger.
Rangers is important in history.
It really is.
Wow.
Honestly.
So
I
then
thought we said this before.
I mean, well, because
We're
no,
just
because
iterating.
it's also
Like-
well, no, because it's also it's so interesting
Mm-hmm.
of kind of going like, oh yeah, like this Power Rangers also normalized the Eastern kind of like TV shows. coming
the idea
west.
of like superheroes
Mhm.
with like a different kind of action sequences.
Super Sentai.
Yeah.
Like Super Sentai hadn't really come over to the come over west, and then once Saban kind of saw it, they were like, oh, we could do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sold. The toy line was the thing. The toy
It's
lines
so
were huge.
interesting whenever they're like, oh yeah, this is California, and then you start seeing them in Power Ranger, and you're like, that's Japan.
Speaking of toy line, have you seen that they Saban or Hasbro is releasing a crossover of both Cobra Kai and Power Rangers?
I've seen
Oh,
that
that's so
stuff.
yeah,
sick.
with
Miguel?
Johnny and Miguel.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I want Hasbro to
Mhm.
release Legacy Morphers
Mhm.
because I'd buy those on the spot.
Same. I want a Legacy Morpher. I never had those.
I
Mighty
want the
Morphin
Mighty
lines.
Morphin.
Yeah.
I want the Lightspeed Rescue.
Mhm.
I want the Lost Galaxy.
They should do that.
I want the RPM one,
Yeah.
even though I've never seen it because it looks cool when they go like. Whoosh.
Yeah.
It's super
What was
cool.
Lost Galaxies again?
Lost Galaxy was his
Oh,
phone
it was
that
like
was
it was like no, it was
and he
like
put a
wrist
code.
one, and they just
Was it
kind
a
of
rich one?
Lost Galaxy was like it had like a jewel, and it had like the squiggly like.
I
black
thought
and
it was
white.
the
No, was it?
phone where it
that.
was like.
No, that was
that's in space.
That's
Oh,
in space.
okay.
Yeah.
That's in space. Because
Right.
I thought Last Galaxy was the sword because it was
No.
the Quasar sabers.
No.
Okay, well, we got to get into the
That's
story.
besides the point.
That's besides the point. So we're gonna do a quick little review because we do have to talk about the Mandalorian since that ended this week as well.
Yes.
But here was the thing: my first impressions of this movie. So Andy sat through this with me because she said we were bored, and we're like, "Oh, well, the Power Rangers movie just came out." She's like, "I'll watch it if you watch it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I put it on. The entire time while we were watching this movie, I was really invested into it, and Andy, all she did was laugh. She kept saying, "This is cringy."
Oh, yeah, you're right. It did have a jewel.
Oh, that's yeah. Those are the Legacy Morphers. Yeah.
That was
Right? Jesus Christ, dude, relax.
Like,
So she laughed and she said that it was very cringy
Mhm.
and that it was very cheesy. And that David Yost and Walter Jones, and I forget the actor that plays Rocky, couldn't act. And I'm like, well, you're forgetting that the atmosphere, because apparently her mom said that Andy watched a lot of Power Rangers growing up. But I'm like, listen, if you're making fun of the way that they're acting,
It's very Power Rangers.
it's very Power Rangers.
The thing
It's
is,
very cheesy
see,
lines.
And I know where you're going with this. It's
Yeah.
like that's how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean we need to see that now, 30 years later.
It's I don't think this story is canon though.
This
Would it be?
I think they
mention it-
mean to
no,
make it canon.
because they do, because in this they mention Terra Venture, they mention what was it? They mentioned where the Quasar Sabers are. They mentioned Lost Galaxy. I mean, I just mentioned Lost Galaxy 3 times. They also
SPD.
mentioned In Space, SPD, because they're the SPS.
SPA.
Or the SPA.
Oh, yeah, SPA,
They
yeah.
also were Krieger, the dog guy from SPD.
Kruger.
They're talking about going to his planet.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're mentioning a lot of stuff. Not only that, but then they're also, because then they go, oh yeah, because Billy, remember, was in space.
Yeah.
And then he then got old, and then he got young again. And
Yeah.
remember, because he went off in space because they were like, well, David Yost he's mad because we keep making fun of him that he's gay. So let's pair him off with a woman, and then we kick him off the show.
Yeah.
It's like this weird
He has a kid, right, in the show or something like that? Or was that Tommy?
Tommy does.
Tommy
JJ.
Tommy does, yeah.
Tommy does JJ. But it looked like they also took some stuff from the comic books too.
Yeah.
Because Kat and Tommy get together.
Yeah.
And then they do have a son named JJ.
Yes.
So I mean, it was weird because they were picking and choosing what sections of the lore to kind of pick from.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Now, okay, I enjoyed the acting. I enjoyed the fight sequences, especially the juice bar fight.
Just looking up morphers.
Yes.
The juice bar fight was pretty cool because I was really excited to see David Yost and Walter Jones just go at it without their suits.
Yeah.
Because it's like that was the thing is that in the original
Hip-hop
Mighty
Keto.
Morphin-
He's all like,
Hip-hop
Hip-hop
Keto.
Keto.
Are you breakdance fighting? I was like, that's so funny.
Andy didn't know. She's like, "What is this?" And I'm just
it's because
like,
she didn't watch Power Rangers. She lied to you. Get a divorce. Jesus, she lies to you. She's like me. I like Power Rangers.
dude, she laughs every time they pose, and then there's an explosion. She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because it's Power Rangers."
No,
Yeah,
because
I-
the energy from their morphine has
That's
needs to
right.
disperse.
There's a reason
Yeah,
for
there's
that.
a
There's a
reason for
canon
that.
reason
There's
for
an
it.
actual canon
It's the
reason for it.
morph
It's so
grid.
funny.
Just exploding amount of
Energy.
energy when they morph.
Yeah, that's why the explosion happens
So-
right behind them.
It's also
Duh.
it's also Bulk and Skull sandwiches.
You know what? I was a little disappointed we didn't get to see Bulk and Skull.
I was
yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I was happy that they were on a poster.
Yeah,
I was,
and like
I
you
was
hear
happy
the
about that. I thought they were
hear
gonna
it.
I thought they
Yeah.
were gonna show up, but I guess they're busy. Like,
They ran away, I guess.
well, because Bulk is he's a professor at like Harvard.
What?
Yeah, he's like a Harvard professor
In
of
real
like
life, yeah.
Of like poetry or something.
A Harvard
The actor.
professor and kicking ass.
He's a very intelligent guy playing an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, and then the guy,
the only way.
and then Bulk was, I forget what he
Well,
was
he
doing.
right now, I mean, the only thing he's doing that's Power Ranger wise, he did that Hyper Force.
Yeah, because he showed up in a couple of things.
which they're making a comic book out of that.
No,
They're
but
making
here-
a comic
okay,
book.
so here's the weird thing though, is that all these people have kind of shown up. I'm wondering if when people read the script for like legacy characters, if whether or not they just didn't like the story.
Probably. There's like I could see where the disagreement lies. You know, if Austin St. John's couldn't make it for legal reasons, that's a different story. If Jason David Frank said, "Look, I'm too busy to go with this. I want to do my own project." Understandable. And I think Amy Jo Johnson also didn't want to be a part of it. This is just my thought about it. She recently revealed that she was working on a Pink Ranger comic book for Boom.
Yeah.
That could also be a thing because maybe she didn't want any.
Maybe
of
she
her...
liked that story more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's different possibilities.
Well, it's interesting because when you watch the special, they specifically wrote out like, oh yeah, Tommy, Jason, and Kimberly get kidnapped.
Yeah.
You know? So now it's like, okay, cool. But now
And then
now
Adam
it got me thinking.
and then Adam and
Yeah.
Taisha, they're both in space, so they can't help us.
They can't
out.
help, yeah. But Rocky and Kat come back. But at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, so if they didn't turn it down, or if they decided to come back, what would have been the original idea or script of that? Because I think they wouldn't have done that to those characters.
I also like the fact that it was
that
it
I
was
feel like they would have written that differently.
Rocky and Cat coming back as red and pink because it allowed blue and black to be the center.
Well, because those are the OG
those are the
characters.
OG legacies,
OG
and it's cool. I've always been a fan of Billy. I've always liked Billy.
Billy's been a really great character. If you rewatch the series again,
Yeah.
you see how much of a great character he is.
Also,
I
Billy,
love his trident, dude. The trident weapon is badass.
It's sick. I also love the fact that in this one, they finally did the thing that always irritated me in the show of a villain monologuing, and they're all standing behind her, and it's like, stab her. Like,
she's done.
like stop. Like, I thought it was so funny when she's like, yes, my monster, yes. Oh my god. And then like,
well, they can get away with it because she's a robot, you know.
Like it just goes straight
And the
through her
weapons were
chest.
actually used as weapons too.
Yeah, I know. I
That's
thought it
the
was
thing,
and it was so funny of him just like pushing her off the thing and going, well, that's done. And then just leaving. And I was like, double tap, bro. If John Wick has taught me anything, double tap everything. Even the dogs.
I will say it brought a lot of nostalgia to me, even though like just the pose when they're gonna morph and they go just straight up like Mastodon, Triceratops.
So to kind of like get into fruition, there is some significant differences from how they changed this one into how the show was. They obviously kill off a ranger in the beginning of this one.
No, they didn't kill her off. They blew her up.
Okay, but she died, so they killed her off.
No, there's a difference.
No, so what's the big thing?
What's the big deal?
Yeah, what's the big
They
deal
killed
about blowing
off
her up?
Rita
I didn't see
by
any body parts or anything. I didn't see any like debris.
Bro.
She was gone.
They stabbed Rita.
Okay.
That's how they.
No,
that's how they kill her.
I'm not talking about Rita. I'm talking about Trini.
Exactly.
I'm
But
talking about
no,
Trini.
but that's the thing. When you kill someone off, you stab them.
What did they bury?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like, like she has a grave.
That's like okay. I was expecting like, oh, she gets stabbed and like they hold her body and go like, oh no.
I didn't think they were gonna do that.
But
But
then
then
they were gonna do
but
that
then
'cause
it was
the actress isn't here anymore.
no, but
What
they
are you
could
gonna
just
do?
play the suit like she dies in her suit. Cool. Okay, that would have been like that's what I was thinking.
I feel like
but
that's
then
too
she
graphic.
takes the blow.
Yeah.
She spins in the air.
Yeah.
And then
She
blows
dies.
up, and you're
Yeah.
like, dude, they blew up Trini.
I didn't. Okay, so what's so big? So what was? I don't. I guess I'm so desensitized for that. I'm like, cool, okay. Like, you know,
Monsters blow up, not rangers.
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lie. Though,
people blow up. Man.
I did want instead of them just looking over the cliff, I did want like a busted ranger helmet because I always
something. Yeah,
because but I always like when the ranger's armor when the ranger suits get destroyed.
Yeah,
like
it's just the suit like ashes are falling out of it. Like,
no, because like in
that's how we do it.
What was it in
or something going
in space they did it, in Lost Galaxy they did it, in what was it inside of what was it
even in the bootleg universe they did that in
like
the
there's a
like
whole bunch
Tommy
of them where
picks
like
up,
they
like a
break
pink helmet. It's just like
yeah, but like also like it, or like it's like broken, it's cracked. You can see their eyes, and it's like, oh, dumb. You can actually.
Or her
see.
weapon is like all like just dirty and destroyed. And
yeah,
cracked.
like it's all like full of soot and stuff.
We got to wrap up this topic because we do have a pretty heavy Mandalorian topic to talk about. So let's talk about this real quick. So you mentioned that you didn't like the new girl.
I didn't like
Trini's daughter.
how she was written.
Okay.
Did you think she was a Mary Sue?
No, I thought that she was very entitled.
Yeah, and I understand that because a lot of the time it's like she thought that she could use the morpher, but
Yeah.
a true fan would know that the morpher chooses you.
Well, also too is that like you could tell that the morpher wasn't letting her, morph because she was so hell bent on revenge. Yeah. She's like, I gotta do it. My mom died. And I'm like, Rita, blah, blah, blah. My mom's a ranger. I'm a ranger.
But when she did morph, didn't you see Trini in it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It was like basically Trini's spirit was telling her, this is how it is to be a ranger.
I thought it was so funny though because somebody pointed it out. I was watching a video and they were like, it's so funny that they didn't actually put the camera up to her eye and then videotape her eye. They put the camera up to her eye and then got a screenshot.
Oh yeah, and just did like the whole history of Yellow Ranger.
And then did the slideshow because the eye doesn't move through this entire slideshow, and then goes.
They cut.
That's so
corners
Raven.
Yeah, like, that's so Raven.
Uh-huh.
And then like zoom back out, and she's like, "Oh,
Mom.
and then she does a Neo going,
Yeah.
I think I know Kung Fu. And you're like, show me.
What do you think of the movie?
It was fun. It's fun. I do understand the gripes of them saying it is cheesy, because I do understand it, where it's, especially with the mediums that we have right now, I do understand nostalgia, but I also do like when a medium like that is treated with respect and brought up.
Yeah.
And, brought into a more mature audience, because that was your audience. There's not really a lot of people, there's not a lot of kids that are going to go and watch this thing. You're aiming towards 30-something-year-olds, 35-year-olds.
And it did bring interest for Cosmic Fury, because now that's a huge topic of conversation, that this new Power Ranger series is separating itself from the Super Sentai series in Japan.
Yeah.
Different costumes than what Japan's going to have, different cast of characters, same cast coming back for a new season that's different.
Yeah, because they're not.
And first female Red Ranger.
They're not using
Leader.
any of the Super Sentai footage
No.
in this one. They're filming a whole new thing.
In all fairness, we don't know she's the leader.
She's the Red Ranger.
So Tommy was the leader, and he was the White Ranger.
You're saying a female can't lead the Power Rangers?
No, I'm saying that. I'm just saying.
Wow.
They made the old Red Ranger is now a Gold Ranger.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I hear
Okay,
you.
yeah. For
No,
sure.
no, I do hear what you mean, though.
I'm just saying.
You do that to us all the time. I'm just saying.
Listen.
How the tables have turned.
How the turns of tables.
How the turntables have twisted.
Yeah, y'all sexist. No, but for this, I do understand where they were coming from. I do understand where they were like, hey, let's make it as cheesy as possible. Let's try to give everybody nostalgia and everything. But
Yeah.
I would have enjoyed seeing the Power Rangers taken into more of a mature medium. Especially since the story had matured, because they were talking about a revenge story. They were talking about a ranger being murdered. They're talking about trying to resurrect a father figure. Like, there was a lot of really mature topics that they were bringing up.
I think overall it felt because they're hitting that 30-year mark, the anniversary, they need to put it out something. And it felt, at the end of the day, also,
it did feel rushed.
It did feel a little rushed. Because if you would have given it another year, you probably would have had at least Jason and Kimberly come back.
Better effects, too.
Yeah.
I feel like the effects were there. I feel like
not the Megazord fight.
I didn't mind the Megazord fight. I
didn't.
liked the reshots of it recreating from the Super Sentai series.
Yeah.
And you get to see it in how we recreated that.
Yeah.
But I do agree that the Megazord moving
Was weird.
Yeah.
I wanted to see a dude in a costume.
Thank you. That's what I wanted,
No,
dude.
we're not going to get that.
Come
I
on,
wanted to
dude.
see-
You know why? Because we're cheap. So it's
All right,
cheaper.
new goal.
CGI.
New goal.
I
Keeping
wanted
Up with the
to-
Nerds directs a new Power Rangers series, and we
wanted-
bring back guys and girls in costumes
That was the
in the Megazords and monsters.
That was the one thing I really wanted, is I wanted to see that giant snake dude, like tall, and a dude in the suit.
Yep.
Just going like all, and then,
You know why? Because they
you know
don't
what was-
do that now.
You know what was
That's
so
why.
cool?
Yeah,
You know
I
what was
know.
so cool as a kid?
that still would have been cool.
If the morphing explosion was cool, it was also cool when the Zords did the final blow and the monster goes like, ah! And then Megazord just goes,
Poses.
whoosh.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yes!
I did miss that as well.
Come on, dude.
Like-
Come on.
You know who would have been a really cool villain for this? Ivan Ooze. Should have brought Ivan Ooze back.
Or just mention Ivan Ooze or something.
Yeah, because somebody was going like, how did Rita come back? And that's the interesting thing, is because
You bring back Rita and you have Lord Zed in this new series, but
Well, okay.
you don't put him together?
So, okay, here's the thing though. So Zed and Rita are both good now. They're not evil. Because even in the new,
going off of, in
Was that
space?
Dino Fury?
no, because even inside of even in the new series, they go, oh yeah, I brought Zed back. I brought him back from a past timeline.
Oh, yeah, that's the only
before
way
he
to bring
gets-
him back. Yeah.
Before he turned good, and then
same thing with
Rita,
yeah.
and then Rita says, "Oh, I've been inside the morphing grid this whole time, because once I was purged from the Rita Repulsa's body, I then
Was this in Dino
trapped."
Fury?
No, this is what.
No, this is the ending. Okay, so when they're saying that Zordon sacrificed himself and he then was sent into the morphing grid, that was in space.
Oh, in space.
When they were, because the
Yes.
whole point of in space is that Zordon has been kidnapped and they're now looking for him.
Yeah.
And then when they find him, he then goes, "You got to kill me. Like, you're going to have to murder me, and then I can cleanse the entire world."
Yeah.
And
Which
then,
so the Mighty Morphin team doesn't know that happened to him, I guess.
yes, they do, because they were saying that a portion of him would be in the morphing grid.
Okay.
So they're still trying to find him.
So they were trying to find. That's what Billy was trying to do.
It'll be interesting if it pops up in Cosmic Fury then.
Well,
if that would
because
be a
also
storyline.
Rita does show up, and I think another one as the White Witch or something like that. Like, she shows up as a good character
Gotcha.
that's helping the Rangers.
I'm just gonna wrap this up by saying, look at the Rotten Tomato scores, and that's enough because I agree with it.
What do you get?
90% on both
critics?
audience and critics.
That's nostalgia. That's
fine.
That's just a
That's
pure
fine.
nostalgia.
It's fine. I just want Power Rangers to succeed, man.
I know, and I do too. I love Power
Because
Rangers.
if it succeeds and we get the Legacy Morphers, and then I'm gonna walk around with my Mighty Morphin Morpher, and whenever I go on to stop crime, I just go like, "It's Morphin time."
Listen, I want a theme park for Power Rangers. I think that would be sick.
Oh, dude! And your
That would
magic
be-
bands are the Morphers,
Yes.
dude. Imagine.
And then you can like walk in and like that's your.
And there's certain sections where you can fight people.
Yes. Oh my god. All right, you took it to a whole new level. But yeah.
All right, our last topic of the day. We're gonna make this a little bit shorter than we should because we're running out of time. But we're gonna be talking about the
Says
Mandalorian.
you.
Nah, 2
What
hours.
are you talking
bro.
about? No, we're not
Hours.
doing 2
Let's
hours.
go.
It's tough on my computer.
2 hours.
Oh my god, The Mandalorian just ended this week.
We're drunk.
Brian just watched the last 2 episodes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just watched the last 2 episodes. I watched the first, I think like 5,
Yeah.
and then I
Skipped
didn't.
2.
I skipped 2, and then I watched the last 2.
Yeah.
So we're gonna give you the perspective of someone that sees it as a production, someone who sees it as a casual fan, and someone who won't shut the about it.
What are you?
The film guy.
Of course you are.
Yeah, and you're the guy that doesn't shut up. So sorry, gotta be kind. Be kind, Brian. Be kind. Okay, thank you. So
I'm gonna fight you.
stop, dude. We're gonna morph.
We're gonna morph into best.
Is that what you tell Andy?
Armor.
No,
Andy.
It's time to morph.
it's morphin' time.
It's morphin' time, Andy.
All right, I will say this.
Mastodon.
Excuse me, I'm Triceratops. All right.
Good for you.
What?
I know it. It sounded like that too. And I was like,
What?
good for you.
No, okay, well,
That, congrats.
you too.
I will say this. The series did a really good job leading up to the end of season 3. Because for me, plain and simple, I don't like Grogu. I don't like his existence. I don't like his presence.
In all fairness, you don't like it because you've spent so much money on him.
I don't like his
You're
existence. I don't like his presence. But the last 2 episodes
You spent
of season 3,
You've spent somewhere near $3,000 on Grogu.
I liked them.
Mhm.
But in all seriousness, the story becomes not just the story of Din Djarin and his kind of like adventures throughout space with this child.
Yes.
The story evolves into the resurrection of Mandalore,
Mhm.
which is something that I think we all could have predicted,
Yeah.
but we don't think we would have ever seen so soon.
I thought it was so funny though because I saw a lot of people like complaining about like I don't understand why we're just focusing on other Mandalorians except for Din Djarin. Like why are we spending so much time with all these other Mandalorians? First off, the show's called The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be about any Mandalorian. I mean, Boba Fett could have showed up and I would have been like,
Or it could have been
sick, whatever.
Din Grogu,
No, but
the the true Mandalorian.
No, but honestly, you could have made The Mandalorian and then you could have made it where it was anthology episodes where you're spending time with other Mandalorians.
Mhm.
I would have been fine with that because the show is called The Mandalorian. It doesn't matter if whether or not it's Din Djarin or Boba Fett or any of these other characters, but they've been setting these little breadcrumbs of we're going to bring back Mandalore. Like we're
Yeah.
going to
That's the whole premise of the show, honestly.
yeah.
Is that we're gonna eventually bring back the Mandalorians as a whole.
Yeah, like we're going to Mandalore. Like everybody in season
So-
2 was like, "Oh, they're going to Mandalore next season." Like, that's the only thing that makes sense.
That's the weird part about what most people are talking about in their reviews of this season.
Mhm.
And I think is that a lot of people didn't expect this show to carry so much weight. But it's a good thing that it did because we got another side of Star Wars that people have been asking for. You and I have had this conversation that we're tired of people. Oh, no, you and I had the conversation. We had the conversation a while back ago, but you and I had this recently, Nick, where we were talking about how legacy fans can't stop complaining about Disney purchasing the franchise.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
There's always a problem.
There's always a problem. But here's my thing with it. If you're a Legends fan, you were a gatekeeper. They were hardcore gatekeepers. That's why Star Wars was one of the things I couldn't get to as a child. Yeah. Because everyone I talked to about it, you never read the books? You never read this one?
Oh my God.
It's like, dude, shut up. But no one cares.
But the books and the Legends material now was so confusing because there was no right answer to
things conflicted with things.
This is canon. This is not.
It was based on the fan consensus of what was canon and what
exactly.
wasn't.
It was like, that was a dope book. That's in the canon. Like Thrawn. Thrawn is heir to the Empire. Immediately, everybody's like, "Oh, well, that's canon. No one's going to tell me different."
Now, here's the thing: if you're saying, "Oh, but the gatekeeping exists in every fandom," yeah, that's fine. Sure. But Star Wars was huge for that reason. Star Wars, you didn't meet a single person who said, "Oh, you didn't read this, you didn't read that." Yeah. Okay, instead of saying to people, "Why didn't you read this or that?" Maybe you should have brought other people into it. Star Trek has the same thing. Star Trek is much more organized in terms of their lore and stuff, but.
Still a little confusing.
Still confusing,
Still
but
all over the place.
They are massive gatekeepers. Oh, you don't like you watch the original but not Next Generation?
Can you stop talking about the weaker show, please? No one cares about Star Trek.
That's true. And this is not the Star Trek.
This is the Star Trek show.
This is the Star Wars.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
Can you stop, you dirty little Trekkie?
Bryan, if you guys are just listening, Bryan's looking at Nick right now with like a very like ferocious like eye contact with a smile that says, "I'm gonna freaking run across this table."
Is it because you're James Tiberius Kirk?
Why are you still talking about Star Trek? You want to move on from it?
I do. So, Mandalorian.
Idiot. Hate you.
It's because you're wrong.
Freaking hate you, dude.
I know. So good.
Forget be kind. Be kind was a stupid message.
So overall, this season, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I like season 3 as a whole. I don't mind the episodes that were presented to us. You know, I don't care that people didn't like the Lizzo and Jack Black episode.
Ridiculous.
I find that episode very fun to watch because Jack Black is a fan, and so is Lizzo is a fan of Star Wars,
and so is Christopher Lloyd.
So people
I hate when people say, "Oh, well, I don't need to see Lizzo and Jack Black in a Star Wars." Why not? Why is that a problem?
Who was the SNL star that was Ted Lasso? Jason Sudeikis, wasn't he a stormtrooper?
He was a stormtrooper.
Season 2?
But we didn't get to see his face.
Yeah, the end of,
so people forget that actors and actresses and directors and producers star in Star Wars properties.
Daniel Craig has been a stormtrooper.
Tom Holland's brother was in the season. Was in the season, yeah.
Kevin Smith has been a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jason Mewes in like The Last Jedi. So I mean, there's
even the creators of the show have been in it as well.
Yeah,
too.
like
Jon Favreau was in it.
Yeah, Favreau voices one of the characters.
Yeah.
Favreau voices one of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, and then Dave Filoni has been in it twice.
Yeah,
he was
back to back.
Yeah, he was an X-wing fighter.
Well, and he's been in it 3 times.
Oh yeah, what was the other time?
It was in the X-wing.
Yeah,
and this time he's been in this season alone. He's been in it twice because it was both inside of the Rangers bar.
Oh, was he in that both times?
He's in the bar both times.
Ah, okay.
If you look on it, because they're on the left side. If you look to the right, you see Dave Filoni. What was it, Deborah Chow? And you also see from Awea.
Okay.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
The season wasn't terrible.
No.
But it wasn't the strongest. Now, the reason for it is because season 2 had a storyline that extended throughout the whole season. This one didn't. This one had an episode or 2 that dealt with the same storyline, and then a filler episode with extra detail.
Yeah.
Then we followed another character in a different storyline while, Din Djarin and Grogu were still there. But the show The Mandalorian didn't revolve around Din Djarin and Grogu. And that's where I have a lot of problem with people reviewing the show.
It was the Bo-Katan season.
It was the Mandalorian season.
Yeah.
Now, if you are focusing on Din Djarin and Grogu, you have season 2 for that. You even have season 1. That's fine.
Yeah.
Go rewatch those.
No,
season 3 is a foundation for the rest of the Star Wars legacy in this world.
We had 2 full seasons dedicated to Din Djarin and Grogu.
Yeah.
Not only that,
so why not have a season where they're kind of in the back burner?
Just
why not have a season that sets a foundation?
Yeah. Well, not only that, but also it's really cool because it does show the growth in the characters.
Yeah.
Because Din Djarin is a lone wolf that doesn't play nice with anyone. Yeah. And then by season 3, he's now a full member of the Culver, and he's a full member of the of Mandalorians, and he has been fully accepted as a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And he's not only that, but also he has helped bring Mandalorians back to Mandalore.
I'm going to go a step further. What season 3 did is prevent gatekeepers from basically talking. Because what ends up happening, and this is what Nick has done for months to us, watch Rebels, watch Clone Wars, watch other franchises that are Star Wars.
Watch other stuff.
Watch other stuff. Here's the thing. Nick talks and we didn't listen. But season 3 happened and now all of a sudden we're interested. And I can assure you, it's not just us. There's probably people who are trying to figure out how these stories connect. What's the deal with Bo-Katan? Like, who is Bo-Katan? Was such an interesting character here.
Yeah. And this is only a fraction.
This
of
is
the
a
story.
fraction. She was introduced as the emo girl that was sad because no one liked her, and she was, that she lost everything, and pouty little girl, sad face, and then she became a strong, dominant character, leader.
She's always been a strong character
in previous
Clone Wars she's a really strong
but
character.
None of us have seen Clone Wars.
I know, but she's a strong character that's misguided because she feels that Mandalorians should go back to the old ways of being fighters, of less because Mandalorians turned into pacifists during the Clone Wars. And then she thought Mandalorians are warriors. We need to go back to that warrior mentality.
If you didn't talk to us about any of that, season 3 exists. And it gives us that interest to go on Disney Plus and start looking at Clone Wars, at Rebels. No, but you might not. But there's certain people that are gonna go back. What's the next series that's gonna come out?
I'm not gonna lie,
Ahsoka.
I'm not gonna lie though. I think if Disney is smart, what I would do is I would make a playlist I would make a Bo-Katan playlist.
See, yeah.
And then what I would
do
is
take out all of her episodes from
take
Clone
all of her
Wars.
episodes out of Clone Wars.
Let's fix that. Let's say that we do this, but if Disney does it, we want 15% cut of what happens.
That's true. But because what I would do
because they're going to do that.
Because
they do that with Marvel.
Yeah, because it makes sense. Why not take those episodes and then go, do you want to know more about Bo-Katan? Go to this playlist and you'll learn
Or
Bo-Katan's...
Ezra Miller. He's going to be one of the main people coming up in Ahsoka.
You mean Ezra Bridger?
Ezra Bridger.
Yeah, you said Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. My bad.
No one wants to know about him.
Ezra Bridger. My bad.
Even Ezra Miller doesn't want to be Ezra Miller.
That's twice in a single issue. That's 2 different issues now that I mentioned the wrong name.
Yeah, I know. But you should. But I mean, in all fairness, if you want to learn about Ezra Bridger, because that playlist is weird because it's just watch Rebels. It's like the Ezra Bridger.
It's just seasons 1 and 3.
Just seasons 1 to 3.
Yeah, of Rebels. That's it.
Ahsoka. All of Rebels.
No, you could do like
some of Clone Wars.
No, there's a lot of Clone Wars.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like 85, 90% of Clone Wars.
But I mean, because there's the episodes. What I would really do is I would show the connection between Anakin and her. Those are the episodes.
Yeah, like her growth episodes.
Yeah.
Of like,
Disney has the potential of making an encyclopedia of Star Wars knowledge.
Because there's a great episode of the Clone Wars where Ahsoka Tano is being hunted by bounty hunters, and she has a bunch of younglings with her. And they're in like a forest, and their shuttle gets shot down, and Anakin goes, "I should have gotten here sooner.
Yeah.
I should have been here. I knew that I shouldn't have sent you on this mission alone." And then she literally looks at him and goes, "But you were here, because I had nothing. My lightsabers were taken away. I had all these kids, and the only thing that I had to like protect all of them were the things that you taught me." So in reality, you saved all of us, because if you hadn't taught me the things that you taught me, everybody would have been dead. Mm-hmm. And I have to thank you, Master. And it's one of those like really touching moments because, Anakin is very much, it's not really it's very much like a brother-sister kind of father-daughter relationship they have. And it's so beautiful. And because even in like the Ashley Eckstein book, that they did with she talks about, oh yeah, I had 2 dads.
Yeah,
I had a dad and I also had an uncle, and she talks about Obi-Wan and Anakin, where Anakin was her dad and Obi-Wan was kind of like her eccentric uncle.
Yeah,
And it's so interesting. So, I mean, go and watch Clone Wars and go and watch all these other things. Clone Wars
Another
is
spiel about watching Rebels and Clone Wars.
it's
See
so
what I mean?
good, though.
See what I mean?
They're
This
so
guy,
good.
This guy, or season 3 already did it. You don't have to talk about it, right? So here's the thing. In terms of the storyline that was produced, I enjoyed it. I love seasons 1 through 3, and 3 was a solid season for me, even though none of the stories really connected in intense ways like season 2 did. That's fine. It gave us different perspectives and something to care about other than Din Djarin and Grogu.
I feel like
we saw
also,
the rebirth of Mando. As a casual fan, as someone that doesn't read the books, doesn't go into the extended universe and stuff, I think you and I both shared the same sentiment when the big reveals happened. Season 2 had a banger ending. Ending.
It's really hard to come back for season 3 after you have Luke Skywalker.
But season 3's banger setup was when they get led into the new Imperial base on Mandalore, and they get surrounded by Beskar stormtroopers, and then Moff Gideon comes down.
He's like if you're like the third game in. And he's like the final boss of that third game.
I thought I killed you in the first one.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was interesting too because I did think his idea is interesting.
Yeah.
The idea of why don't I mix Imperial, Jedi, and Mandalorians, and I make them one.
Yeah.
And
I clone myself.
And I make an entire army.
And I make myself the supreme leader.
Oh, but I'm perfect as I am. The only thing I'm missing, the Force.
Yeah, I'm missing the Force. If I have the Force, I could kill all of you.
Yeah.
And I love the idea of that. The only thing that I thought... The only thing I thought...
Force abilities?
That would have been sick. The only thing I thought was don't get me wrong, the structure of the episode is weird. Like the fact of Moff Gideon is hiding after the clone bat the tanks.
Yeah.
And he didn't work very hard to protect them. He was just he showed up after they blew up with 4 button pushes, and then he was like, oh, why did you do that? And it's like, bro, you weren't even here. Where were you?
Well, Moff Gideon is not a good planner. I think he had it too big of an ego to actually go forth with it. Badass stuff. We can all agree. There's probably 10 different toy sets that are going to come off of those 2 episodes alone.
I'm looking forward to seeing Moff Gideon in his suit, just destroying the Darksaber and doing all these other things.
Well, Nick, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Talk about the future of the Mandalorian, because there's the announcement that they're going to be doing a movie, and the Ahsoka series is coming up next. So this is basically the Mandalorian season 3 ends with kind of wrapping up loose ends.
It's the end of a Western.
It's the end of a Western.
It's one of those it's kind of like a Clint Eastwood movie when he, or a John Wayne movie where he has a good ending.
So now I need you to tap into the Force.
He settles, and him and his son can just kind of live their lives.
I need you to tap into the Force, okay? And I need you to tell the people what they could be expecting in the Ahsoka series. Are we getting a season 4, or are we going straight to the movie?
I think that if you're gonna get Din Djarin, in all fairness, I feel like The Mandalorian may be over. I feel if there is a season 4, I can see it going back to formula and us going more into him taking off jobs and kind of explaining a little more of how the Empire is being built, or how Thrawn's Empire is being built.
Would you watch Adventure of the Week Mandalorian season?
Adventure of the Week?
Like what they did with Strange New Worlds?
Oh, well, it depends on who you're following.
Din Djarin and Grogu.
After that,
yeah, like Din Djarin and Grogu, because I like the idea of Din Djarin and Grogu becoming Sherlock Holmes and Watson, and kind of going through the mystery of what is the Empire planning.
Yeah, wouldn't you watch that?
I think that'd be interesting.
You know what? Because it's Din Djarin and it's Grogu. I would
Din Grogu,
but would I want it? Probably not.
I think it depends on how it's set up.
For me, so I guess overall, I feel like I half agree with you with the whole this is the end of the Mandalorian of Din Djarin.
Right.
This is it. This is where right here. This is basically where Lucasfilms is we're gonna put a pin in them. This is it.
They're happy.
They're gonna stay here until we need them in the next few years or something.
And Din and Grogu have just been doing jobs. They've been Grogu's been growing in the Force. Din's been teaching him bounty hunting skills. So we'll see them later.
Yeah, because of that, and then you also have Pedro Pascal, which is his acting ability and his demand of in Hollywood is gotten so high now. with two very successful shows this year.
Yeah.
You have
That of the
Mandalorian,
year.
that and Last of Us. So you have studios wanting a piece of him.
Well, think about it. Mandalorian usually takes what, 2 years?
Yeah.
It's about 2 years to get a Mandalorian season.
Because studios know that once they put Pedro Pascal in anything,
People will come see it.
people are going to pay money.
But in Ahsoka, Mando is going to be put on a shelf.
Yeah.
He is going to be. We're gonna come back to him later.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see a reason for Mando to show up right now because, for one, you're fighting a lot of Jedi. Two, we already have a pretty bloated crew. There's already a lot of people that are in Ahsoka that we're already going to have to try and meet and get you up to speed on who these people are.
And when it comes to Ahsoka, I don't feel like she really doesn't need the Mandalorian.
No.
She can handle stuff on her own. And she has a crew, like you said already.
In all fairness, like when Mando comes to help her, she didn't really need his help. Like, in all fairness, like the only reason why she was kind of stuck was because she was like, I could murder all of them, but most likely I couldn't. I'm not going to be able to save everybody.
Prediction. I think that I'm going to agree. Mando's on a shelf for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
I think 2 to 3 years.
But we're going to get a Mando season 3.5, which is a 5-episode miniseries that's only going to be Adventure of the Week kind of style. Hang on. Adventure of the Week with the last episode setting up for the movie. That way, you're not overusing Pedro Pascal and he's able to do his own things, but you keep that interest of like, I really love playing this character. And you also get to bring back legacy directors who've done a really good job and they can direct those styles of shows. Like maybe give them the chance to write and direct an episode of The Mandalorian. Like that Adventure of the Week kind of thing.
What I would like is specials. I think specials would be great, like a holiday special for.
No. I'm talking about like a 5-episode miniseries. Like it's the Adventures of the Mandalorian and Din Djarin and then Din Grogu. I'm
gonna do one not better, but I'm gonna say this because now that where they have the Mandalorian and Grogu right now, we're gonna get Grogu shorts like baby Groot.
I just started to like the little dude.
Yeah, no, they're gonna do that next year.
No,
we're gonna get him like.
But you know what? You can do those. I think you can do those pretty cool because especially if you do them like Tales of the Jedi. If you do those where it's Grogu, because I think it'd be kind of interesting if instead Grogu is like Din Djarin shooting at Grogu and him like learning how to evade.
Yeah.
This is how to tether people. This is how to do other things. This is how to bounty hunt.
You just don't like the idea of Grogu shorts.
No, I just don't like the idea of my wife spending money on Grogu stuff anymore.
I get that, but unfortunately, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
No, because I do feel like that would be interesting. Do animated shorts.
Look, man, I already cried once for that little dude when they said, I've adopted him as my son.
That was great. That was a great scene.
That's my boy!
My baby boy! No,
it's only gonna make him harder when he dies, dude. It's only gonna make it that much harder.
I
want Pedro Pascal to do that. And like, that's my son.
There's him in one paw.
Straight from Harry Potter. No,
wrap it up, Nick.
I do. So in Ahsoka, we're not gonna see the Mandalorian.
Not at all.
We're gonna get the Ghost Crew. We're getting Ahsoka Tano. We're gonna get Ezra Bridger, and we're gonna be introduced to what Thrawn's overall plan is. I don't believe that Thrawn's overall plan is the resurrection of Palpatine, because he is a Palpatine loyalist. I can see him kind of absconding with that power and going like, okay, I'm in charge, because at first Thrawn doesn't like the Empire and then becomes a loyalist. We already got introduced to Hux. We already got introduced to a couple of people from the First Order, and we can see that they're collecting a force. I do see what I do think though
it's
is
like
that
wrap it up sound like.
Are you playing me off? Is this the Oscars? I'll tell you about this afterwards. Anyway, I was at a quince and they played some. They played.
No, where are you? You deleted a tangent, dude. I know.
That's different. So anyway, I do think that in Ahsoka Tano, we're going to be going to the world between worlds. We're going to be doing all that stuff.
The hyperspace lanes.
I do think that we're going to focus more on the Force.
Space whales.
We're focusing on like the Force, and we're focusing on like the daughter and the brother and the father and all that stuff from Mortis arcs, and it's gonna get like really in depth into like a lot of Filoni's like deep lore of the Force.
I really hope that that's what we get in Ahsoka, because how awesome would it be to explore like Ahsoka's like past and like fighting style? Why did we get Ahsoka fighting all samurai like in that one episode of The Mandalorian? Like, can we get those aspects back and just Dave Filoni?
Because of Anakin.
But Dave Filoni getting into just the entire nerdgasm aspect of like Star Wars and his love for it.
Because if anybody watched Tales of the Jedi, you realize that Anakin is one hell of a teacher, and then goes, yeah, droids are dope, but when you're surrounded by people, what are you gonna do? And tortured her for years on like escape.
All right, we got to wrap up this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds. Rene, do you have anything else to add, or are we good?
No.
Okay. You got to press the button.
No.
Oh
You
my God, dude.
push the button.
Push your button.
Tell him that's gonna get him all riled up, dude.
Don't
Push your
promise.
button, dude.
Don't promise me with a good time.
Twice.
Shut up.
Double click your mouse.
Stop. Double tap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this issue of Keeping Up with the Nerds. Don't forget to check out our website at keepingupwiththenerds.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Follow our socials, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And leave a comment down below if you found any of the topics we talked about interesting. What were your ideas or thoughts on Mandalorian Season 3? What did you think of the Power Ranger special if you watched it? Leave a like on the video as well. Leave a 5-star review on any of those audio
What do you
platforms.
think is going to happen to Din Grogu and Din Djarin?
He dies.
Are we going to see them?
No more toys. Disney, put out those arts. Those what are they called?
Yeah.
Concept arts at the end of
Concept
the
arts,
episode.
we were talking about it right before we recorded of like, how have they not sold these?
Yeah, no,
Like, they look
Watch,
sick.
they're gonna do it now. It's gonna be like $50.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that sounds about
60 to or like
That sounds
100
about
for it framed.
Yeah, if it's signed.
Oh,
Signed.
dude, that would be sick.
They weren't gonna sign me.
I'd do that. I'd spend 100 on some art.
Nick, sign us out. You should have the script ready by the time I say that, dude. So it's just like. Oh my God, dude!
Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 145. My name is Nick Valera.
Rene.
This is Bryan.
Signing off from Under City Comics. We'll see you all next time.
Be kind, Nick.